Hi everyone, welcome. This is
ready.
new for me. Everyone, Brian said, "Whenever you're ready, I am ready. I don't care about the rest." So here we are. Hi. If you don't know me because you have seen all these lovely people together, but not me as much, I'm Cammy. I'm Anthara's Lord Keeper. Welcome to Talking Aanthara, the show where we talk about D&D. Jingle.
Insert Anthara jingle. Megan, that's your job. You're the bard.
Even though I am Anthara's Lord Keeper, I'm in charge of this show, and as every other edition of this show, I'm gonna make Matt make a summary of everything that happened since last time we talked. So Matt, take it away.
Okay, last time we talked was after you guys annihilated the bandit camp. So, since then, yeah, that was actually a long time ago, session 27. This is after session 41.
In game, how many days is that?
It's so many.
It's really not that many.
It's actually
it was like a week and a half of travel time, and that's like it, wasn't it?
Yeah, it hasn't been that many in between. Not at all.
Maybe 2 weeks.
So that was around the 20th of April, and it is currently May 13th. So almost a month. Wow. Yeah, almost a month in game, like three to 4 weeks. So after that, the party went back to Saalfeld, and then they went back to Proward, and they had a couple of small things to tie up in both of those cities, and then they began the trek to Ilmara, and that was quite a journey. And they came across some random stuff on the way. When they got to Ilmara, a variety of possibly somewhat interesting things happened, but mainly we got to meet Faye's family, not almost all, a good amount of her immediate family and their families. Stayed in the Rosewood Estate, found out how rich Faye's family is. That was pretty much the main takeaway from Ilmara, I think.
I found out how rich Faye's family is.
Yep.
I found out in real time, like a family. Holy shit.
But we didn't stay there long because of the ongoing letters from Eclipse's family about the concerns, particularly that her father was having, about being watched, the threads they were attempting to follow being potentially concerning or dangerous. And so they made their way pretty quickly down to Olea. So traveled kind of halfway across Aanthara in this time, actually. Or not across Aanthara, halfway across Kathos. And then, when they reached Olea, they got to meet one of Eclipse's best friends, and her whole family, for that matter, Remy, played by Halia, who unfortunately is not here. Did we ask her to be here?
Yes.
Okay, she couldn't make it. Which is unfortunate, because that was an amazing few episodes of Halia playing Remy, which were just perfect. They also played Capture the Flag and learned some things about their magic, because she studies magic. And then, the second night or the first night, I honestly can't remember.
It was the first night.
First night.
Yeah.
Wow.
First night, Matt.
Yeah, the first night, which incidentally they would have missed if they had spent more time in Ilmara, but we can get to that later maybe. There was an attack on the Lycean Consortium where Eclipse's family works and operates. And her father, Hugo, was taken by a pair of figures who match up to descriptions of two figures that Rylus believes are possibly responsible for the assassinations that the party found out about a long time ago. None of that's really confirmed. We've been calling them the assassins all this time, but it's mostly speculation. And the only reason that they found out that those people had taken Hugo was that Faye stumbled onto them just as they were about to leave, and one of them killed her. So Faye had to be resurrected. Second death of the campaign. And then they spent the next few days trying to track down leads and find out what to do next. And they were able to locate and apprehend a potentially involved person of interest named Cyrus Nichols, who they then interrogated. And I wonder if there will be questions about this. So I won't say too much, but Faye...
Of course there are.
Okay, Faye/Megan just utterly wrecked my shit and drew out of him some crucial information. And then the party also was able to get a bead on where these figures had gone that they believe are responsible for Hugo's kidnapping, because some guards noticed an odd story from the night before that then passed its way down. And so then they tracked those people into the mountain pass, or to the mountains southeast of the city, into a pass, did pick up their trail, and are now on said trail following these assassins. That was like 2 minutes longer than I meant for it to be, but there you go.
This is the show
Yeah.
that I asked for. Thank you.
Yes. Insert anime music in post.
There it is. It has to play Dear Maria.
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay.
It's the universal.
How should we do this? Well, last time I had you roll to see who gets asked the question first. So I think we should do that. So
okay.
grab your D20.
Important note. If you haven't watched session 41, I had the worst combat in Dungeon Master history, in which I did no damage to the party. And then I went on to play in a Curse of Straw game where I also rolled pretty badly. So for the last 48 hours, my dice have all been 20 side up in my dice tray, and I had a candle next to them for a while too. So this is going to be the first roll after this.
Let's see.
God, please let it be terrible.
Okay. It's not terrible, but it's not great.
That's cocked.
Tiny dice.
That's also cocked. Okay.
4.
4.
14.
Of course.
15.
Ooh. 12.
17.
Oh!
Ooh.
It's the golden
Okay,
snitch, baby.
Sean.
Oh!
Lowest number.
Whoa! Hold on.
A whole
I completely skipped the fact that Eowyn fucking dipped.
Yeah, that happened, by the way.
So Sean is here,
fucking
I'm
what?
sure, to be grilled about why. We'll see how much he's willing to share.
We'll see.
But yeah, so the party is currently Eowyn-less. And in the very last episode, a new figure appeared that may or may not be joining them for a time. We'll see. So there you go. Sorry. Continue.
So, Sean. Oh my god, I just read how I phrased this question. Holy fuck. It
Does
was
someone
like
want to roll for Leah?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Make Matt do
I think
Wait,
Cammy
Cammy
has
should
to
roll for Leah.
Cammy has to roll
Cammy
for
has to
Leah.
Oh
With
my
her
God.
pre-recorded answers.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's coming
So,
to us.
while I roll the d20, Sean,
Mhm.
Edwin has had a Hannah Montana way of life. One with the swords and one with the heralds.
Yeah.
How does he feel about those two worlds colliding?
To him, they haven't. For the most part, like, his alliance has and will be, well, has been, I will say for the time being, with the swords. He has seen his time with the Twilight Heralds less so as joining like a new group and more so continuing his job, really. So it's more so that the Heralds have been able to enable him to continue to do his job well, rather than him being a part of the group necessarily.
Nice. How do you feel about leaving? Or how does Edwin feel about leaving?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You had to know this was coming.
Yeah, I know, and I've been thinking about it. So, Eowyn, for reasons I cannot yet disclose. Pick up. For reasons that I cannot disclose, can't I can't say the reason why he left. Therefore, I can't really state like how he's feeling about why he left, because that would kind of blow it out of proportion. Behind the RP, he left because I was disappointed with the trajectory of the character, and I wanted some time to kind of figure him out and make him more fun to play, while also being able to have you guys interact with him in a more interesting way. What I didn't realize is that the most logical way for him to leave the party would have me exiting the game for a very, very, very prolonged period of time. So both Edwin and I will not be back in the game for at least probably 4 months. Probably longer than that. That's like the minimum. If the pace continues as is, it could be well over a year. In real life before I'm back in the game. And by that point, we kind of just have to see what happens. But yeah. I'm not feeling I was feeling like it had to happen, but it's unfortunate that the scenario has led to it being like this. But it's okay. We're working. We've already started making some more layers to this. Like the onion is growing, and once the onion has enough layers, then we're gonna let you guys cut that bitch open and start crying.
Parfaits.
Can't wait.
Parfaits are delicious.
Cakes.
Talking about that topic, how does the party feel about Adrian leaving?
Ooh.
I mean, it kind of answered Eclipse's question in a way, because before he left, she genuinely asked him, like, hey, are you comfortable hiding that side of you to do what we need to do? And finding the sword and shield was just kind of like, okay, so whatever the hell you need to do answers that question. It's important enough for you to leave that there. So I think it's more of like a respect. Like, this is a selfish request on my behalf that is super dangerous, and I don't know anything that was happening on his end that was anything like that. But I think it's just a, yeah, it's a, hey, I get it, and you got shit you gotta do.
I think Faye's really confused because the last conversation that they had was about how far they had come and accountability and his need and desire to protect, and then to just have him leave was kind of like a, oh, I guess just not us. So like it's not denial that those instincts are there and that the desire to do that is there. It's just not you.
It was meant for someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for Yasna, the really shitty way to put it is he's very suspicious. Given his nature in general and how that he had been around the party up until that point, and he vocalized it as he left. Like those were the thoughts that he had. He has this information. What does that mean for us? Is he in trouble? Are we in trouble? Are we worried? And I think in the session itself, the topic of betrayal came up, and it that wasn't the question. It was well-being specifically. The concept of Eowyn taking that information at that moment and betraying the Twilight Heralds wasn't where those were guided. It was the this is another chess piece that's just moved, but we didn't move it.
Mm.
Now we have to figure out, is this a protect? Are we guarding this pawn, or are we using this to advance, or is this a way to pull people in a different direction? And it's just that ongoing chess match that's happening in his head. For Brian, I think there are very far and few in between moments that allow a lot of exposition. And I think that the move for the party is probably one of the biggest instances that cause some sort of a dynamic shift. And I say that with the most respect because I think that there was a point where Matt and I were talking and we were discussing about Edwin leaving. And I think we had mentioned something about the party coming together because he left. And I don't think that's right. I think that the party came more together because they realized what they were losing. And that's the big impact of, even though like Yaznip and him didn't really see much, he was able to involve everybody else a little bit more. And it was kind of that clinging moment where we just lost somebody, we don't want to lose anybody else kind of thing. And it's not a lost forever, it's a lost for now, because we just were in the dark. We don't know.
But great answers.
Good
I don't know what to
answers,
say
good
when
answer.
Sir,
I don't know what to say when you stop like give an answer as like
That.
Good answer.
Yep. Yeah,
good
good
It's up
answer.
there.
answer.
It's up there.
Unless
I'm
it's
gonna
a
go
bad
to my
answer,
on the
then you
board.
say,
It's up there.
It's up there, Steve.
I'm gonna
It's
go to
there.
my keeper self and say, "Well done, good job, very good." Oh, well, I rolled an 18, you guys.
Oh!
So we have a Leah question. For those who don't know and are watching, Leah's not here because she's in a wedding or preparing a wedding. A wedding is happening. Her sister's getting married.
She's not getting married.
It's
No.
not
She's
her.
not getting married.
If anyone
Her
was concerned in the
sister's getting married.
comments, no, it's not her.
Anna, we love you and we wish you the best.
Yet.
However,
True.
as she is my best friend, I never want to leave her out of things. So I asked her a couple questions, and she recorded herself. So, first question that I'm going to ask Leah is, Brightwing was giving a very specific reading about her character and future. The word that was given to her was balance. What does she think about that, and how does it make her feel? Leah?
Yeah. Balance is wild. No pun intended. It's not what I expected when everyone was getting their one word. Balance was not what I thought was going to be Brightwing's, but it makes sense. She has always put all of her rocks, all of her eggs in one basket with worshiping the wilds. And it served her very well up to this point. And so there's really no reason to put more eggs in other baskets if her trust is just solely on this one entity. But with her being like, you have to balance your life and your trust and your paths by seeing what is available. And right now you have friends that rely on you, and you have to rely on them and trust them. You have family that you're not around that you should rely on more. You have new pathways in front of you that just because you think one way, going down the road less traveled might lead you to something growth in a different path. And Brightwing immediately understood what she was saying and really understood the wisdom behind it. And took that to heart and is like, okay, I do need to, she's already out of her comfort zone by being out of home, but she's like, I truly do need to see what balance I don't have in my life and how to make it balanced. So we will see what comes to fruition with it. I don't particularly know what to do with how to balance life with Brightwing, but we shall see.
Oh.
Is she gonna lose her faith? No. Not at all.
Whoa.
The wilds are very solid. And I know what that other question is because Cammy sent it to me. So I'm interested to see what everyone else thinks of the wilds, but the wilds are good, and no one can tell me differently. But we shall see.
Great segue, Leah. I have a very important question to ask the rest of your party. It is, now that Leah is not here, what do y'all think about the wilds?
Ooh.
Oh, it's like that.
It is like that. Yeah. It was, in fact, Leah's question.
Edwin thinks that the wilds are bullshit.
Wow.
Fact.
So he thinks that her interpretation of whatever this higher entity is incorrect and is likely something else that has an explanation that has nothing to do with how she has described it. He genuinely thinks she has no idea what the hell is going on. Which, I mean, she set that precedent. But, at the same time, he also thinks that there is something greater involved here. Obviously, it's not just like a... Uh-oh.
Oh?
Yeah, brain just stopped. Words are hard. I'm focusing on too many things at once right now.
Yeah.
But like it's very clear that there's some sort of higher power at play, but he doesn't think it is what Brightwing describes it to be. For sure.
Mm-hmm. The rest of ya?
I think that Faye does not believe that the wilds as an entity are the same as a deity. I think that there is like a discrepancy between the two, and it's like I think she's probably equates it more to like druidic power. And but like fanatical in that, which is fine, but I think too, having been like traveled a little bit, it's not uncommon to hear in texts and like in the like readings, and she's kind of a little bit of a history buff, but like deities have been called different names throughout history, and in different cultures they'll refer to the same deity as different names. So perhaps it's like a facet of something, or just her culture's attempt at explaining magic, because like a lot of there's a belief system that says that like religion is just like people's way to rationalize the things that happen to them in the world, and I think that's kind of where she comes from it at, is like that was just that culture's way of rationalizing the access to magic, was attributing it to the wilds.
Anyone else would like to answer?
Hey Matt, what are your thoughts on the wilds?
I cannot share my thoughts on the wilds because I know what the wilds are they?
So you mean to tell us that you know what the wild things are?
You know where they are?
Mm.
I gotta know where they
Facts.
They're in the Ephesian forest, obviously.
are. Oh shit.
Oh my god. Okay. Talking about Leah. Oh,
well,
yes,
I've got one. I've got one for the wilds. I think for Yasna, he's seen this person, which I don't actually know if we discovered or discussed the origin for the two of them, but basically saw this person come out of the woods with a bunch of fucking birds all over her as he was feeding birds birdseed. And from that point on has been hit with numerous indications of stories of folklore from his childhood specifically. Creatures that he read about that he didn't believe were real was now standing in front of him. And with the topic of the wild, seeing her interact with different types of plants, different types of just wild foliage, animals, the number of things that she's done, and not necessarily being a very religious individual himself, kind of makes him think that it works. And he doesn't know, I think, enough to really discern if it is a multiple entity thing, because Brian thinks it's a multiple entity thing. But Yasnip is very open to the idea of this being a singular entity or singular form, very Avatar, if we go that way. Is kind of the jive that he gets, where that there is this link, and I think a lot of that has to do with Vana specifically as well, and the way that she's discussed similar things. They seem to be on the same page with things, and it is very much that druidic nature. He believes, but for other reasons, he also thinks the wilds are a dick because he's had his fair run-in as well. So,
nice. Jazz, any answers?
Eclipse doesn't understand magic, so she doesn't really.
There you
She's
go.
like, whatever is working for you, man. Clearly, it's doing something.
The perfect Eclipse answer.
You keep doing what you do.
good
and I'm not
answer.
gonna-
Good answer. Good
Good
answer.
answer. Good answer. Well, Leah also want me to ask you guys, what's everyone's favorite mechanic of your character?
Ooh.
Mechanic.
Please
Yeah.
hold while I pull up my character sheet.
Like
I-
like game mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really like ruining Matt's day. Like,
Okay.
Listen,
Me
that's not exclusive to you. That's something that we can all
But, like,
partake and enjoy in. But
there's
I
not-
understand.
there's not many times where when somebody gets fucking like backhanded aggressively with damage that I can just be like, okay, but subtract this number because I said so. Like, there's no like.
Yeah.
I don't get that opportunity a lot. And also, especially with this party, like, I'm not really going to get that again because it's under very specific circumstances. And also, like, the one that I've had since the beginning of the game, I've finally gotten to use more often. And it's finally getting used properly, which is great. And then it's not a finite resource, it is just reaction.
Mhm.
Do the thing. So it's almost like a guaranteed less damage. Even if it's just a little bit, it could mean a lot down the road. So it's good. I like that.
I like not relying on Eldritch Blast.
That's a good
Hell yeah.
one.
Listen,
That's a good one.
you're just a fucking psychopath.
I love it. The changes with the recent dip that he took, which I guess maybe hasn't been abundantly clear, but sorcerer
Not. Yeah.
is the dip
Ooh,
that he
okay.
took, and it is a setup that Matt and I had discussed and worked out, and I'm very excited for how those go, because it is complementary to what he's already made and what he's already done in ways that fit a certain niche, and I'm very appreciative of it. So I'm looking to see how those unfold, but just being a warlock that is able to not rely on the most ridiculous cantrip in the entire game is probably the part that I enjoy the most. It's just playing it in a different mold.
Yeah.
Mine is the Tragedy Bard's Sorrowful Fate trigger, where I can change any saving throw to a charisma saving throw.
Yeah.
And I am excited for the opportunity. We've done a lot of monsters, so I'm excited for the opportunity to use that against more humanoids, because it will
Yeah.
make Matt have to come up with more dark poetic final words.
Yeah.
For
Oh,
the
yeah.
because that's the feature is they take the damage from the inspiration, and then if they are reduced to 0 hit points in that time, they are magically compelled to utter darkly poetic final words before succumbing to their injuries. So
Love that.
I'm excited for that.
I think the one we had was like probably the craziest one. The one in the bandit camp was
Mhm.
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
Was wild. I was like, wow, okay.
What did he say? We deserved
said
it?
we
Something like
deserved
He
that?
said we
Yeah.
deserved it.
Yeah, we deserved it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
That was big.
That was metal as fuck, is what that was.
Yeah.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
hell of a way to
Great.
end a combat, man.
Yeah.
That was, wow.
But nothing has a good charisma save.
Nope.
Yeah. BBEG is gonna be a bard, guys. It's gonna be terrifying.
Oh God.
Ugh.
That's the thing is nothing requires a charisma save too, which is my best saving
Yeah.
throw.
Sean, do you have a favorite mechanic?
I guess for you it could be Seraph or Raidwin, really.
Ooh, true.
Ooh.
Well, Seraph was a. I love
I'm
him.
offering it to you.
I
You don't have
love-
to take it.
I
It is
love
just there.
Seraph so much. Seraph is like my brother that I wish I had. He is so no offense to my actual brother, but like
I was gonna say.
Damn.
Seraph
Wrecked.
is a
Like medium offense.
Seraph is a wonderful, wonderful dude, plagued by one of the worst classes to ever race 5e, and one of the worst weapons to ever be graced by 5e. Like, the combination of Blood Hunter plus Exandrian firearms, you have to have a certain amount of self-hatred to want to do that.
Don't tempt me.
Don't do it.
I still
So-
want a gun.
I do what I want.
Mm.
That
I wanna
was
go.
So did I.
that
said
was
no.
a major issue. And I didn't realize it until he was already dead, when I was like, oh fuck, this is the worst. Like, I feel like I'm so useless. So I decided I would go the complete opposite direction and pick one of the highest utility classes in the entire game.
True.
And unfortunately, Paladin is super mad. So unless you roll out of your mind, you're gonna be mediocre at something. And so while my attacks haven't been great, one of the things that I have enjoyed in particular were some of the synergies that we came up with, in particular Bless Bane. That combination is devastatingly strong, right? Like, being able to add a d4 to your rolls and subtract a d4 from the opposing rolls is unreal levels of power with that. I mean, it's really extraordinary. But saving the best for last, I think my favorite mechanic was being able to negotiate with Matt to turn the spell Find Steed into Lucy.
Ooh.
Because I
Hell
noticed
yeah.
it. I noticed it on my sheet, and I was like, "Huh, it'd be pretty rad if anyone had a mount." But I can't just do any mount. It's got to be something cool. And then I decided that it would.
No.
It just had to happen. And
No.
then he was like, we sort of came up with the design for it, and I was like, "This is the greatest. What the hell is its name?" And we came to Lucy, which is short for Lucifer, and yeah.
Whoa.
The rest is history. It's great.
Damn. Nice.
Lucy
Okay,
the Good
okay.
Bean.
Matt, do you have a favorite, like, creature, monster, /
No, because
whatever
they all fucking
you-
rolled terribly.
that you didn't get to use?
That I didn't get to use?
Yeah. Or
You
that
can't-
you got
Um,
to use?
I feel like we may have talked about the Hag's stat block in the last Talking Anthara, which
We
was
did.
right after that
We
fight.
definitely did. Yeah.
There was a thing, I think, or two in there that I didn't get to use, but probably one of my favorite mechanics that I've used all campaign was her opening death saving throw stealing cone. So that's definitely up there. However, my favorite one is probably one that Rylus has that
Ooh.
the party doesn't know exactly, so I won't say it in particular, but he's a custom adjustment to a monk subclass that I made. And has we'll say the ability to vary.
Margot Olea overnight.
Yes. No.
Yes.
The ability to very minutely evaluate a person and learn quite a bit about them. There's some other abilities in D&D that are similar, like there's a fighter one, I think a battle master thing, maybe, where you can like determine if they have more hit points or AC or something.
Yeah.
But this can go much deeper than that if he spends key points, to where he really knows quite a bit about the person he's evaluating, and he has used that on everyone in the party. So
I hate this guy.
Damn. I kind of like him though.
He's so cool. I hate him.
He's so cool.
He is
Monk?
really awesome.
We made him
Monks don't have
stop
to
writing.
physically do
Yeah.
anything to do key points? Is that
No.
okay? They just do.
it depends on the feature, but yeah.
Can you imagine if he relied on also getting you to do this? So he's in the middle of
Like somebody else, yeah.
interrogation,
That would
and
make a
his
lot of
fucking
yeah.
cold
Flat.
comes across the face.
Yeah. It sounds like someone else that isn't another thing that does that. That's crazy. Who would do that? That's crazy. Matt.
Okay. Oh my god. Let me go into the big stuff that we have to talk about. So, Hugo, Eclipse's dad, was kidnapped for reasons that the party truly does not know. Yet, might I add, what do you think those reasons are? What are your theories? Oh, no bites out.
Gotten some information from
Yeah.
Cyrus about that.
Pull up the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Do we want
I think
to
the
hear
more important
Leah's
question is
answer?
why isn't he dead? Because, like,
So
he was
that-
getting in the way of
Yeah.
many powerful fucking people, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to truly silence someone,
well,
they
that's-
could have just killed him.
That's the thing, though, is that
Yeah.
if you silence somebody, you don't know everything that they know. So
Exactly.
there's the possibility
So-
of him knowing things that they don't,
They don't know, yeah.
Mhm.
and they need that information.
Yeah.
and
That's
that
kind of
could
what
be
I'm
it.
betting on. Yeah.
I think here's my conspiracy tinfoil hat thing, right? So these
Love
two
those.
guys show up. We have the name from the dude that shit his pants. We have the name.
Yep.
What if their contract is done and now they're running their own side thing for somebody else at the same time as this? Like, there's the infiltration going in, they have all this information, they're mercenaries for hire, maybe somebody else came in with more gold, and that is where Hugo went, not to wherever else.
So they were hired to kill him, but they got paid more to take him?
Maybe.
That would be kind of wild.
Either way, well, God, that would be a whole
Different thing.
So, we know that they traveled east, which is also the same direction that we know all of. Like, there wasn't there. I wish I had the map in front of me. There was that thing going on.
I could put you on the map.
That'd be great. Thanks, bud.
Oh wait, you are on the map if you open up Roll20.
Even better. I was on my way there. So there was something that they were doing up in Sky Hall, right? Like they were building something up there.
That's
like
where the
something
Soul
big.
Forge
That's
stuff
where the
is.
Soul Forge are built.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
And this-
almost certain that that's where they're taking it. Like,
But we're going
Southeast?
south. Yeah, we're going south, not
Yeah.
north.
We were cutting southeast.
no, that's what I mean. Like they left Olea to the east.
Mhm.
They're probably not going to travel through civilization with a fucking prisoner. That doesn't make any sense.
You could bypass cities, though. Like, there's ways around all of that.
And
That's
what
probably
is
what
the
he's
most
doing.
subtle way to travel being unspotted by civilians? Go through the mountains. If you're Warforged, you probably don't give a shit. So, like, you can tread that no problem.
Yeah.
I'm fairly sure that because like Matt's a fickle little.
Fuck.
Yes.
Tell us how you really feel.
It is impossible that these threads are not connected. I refuse to believe that they aren't. Otherwise, we would not be presented with so many seemingly incongruent threads at once. They all have to lead to the same place at some
We've
point.
also been told that the Draikari are elusive and that they don't have a home base and that they're all spread out all over like all over the place. So they could be literally anywhere. Are they just in Kathos or are they in all of Anthara?
It's all three. They're part of the Trivanian Accord.
So they could be down in Sildari. This specific one could be based in Sildari, and they could be headed that way. We don't know. Right now, we're just following.
Yeah, that's just my take.
With no plan as to what to do when we catch up to them.
Yes.
For the why, yeah, I think he found out something they don't know.
How do they know that he knows?
Well, exactly. Like, it's either that or someone not Adrexia is intercepting to foil her. Like Brian said.
Also, by the way, Adrexia, great fucking name.
Yeah, she's a bitch. Great.
Bitch.
She may be a bitch, but she's a bad bitch.
No.
Hey.
She's just a bitch.
I mean, she's bad too.
She's exclusively.
She's bad, but she's a bitch, but she's also a bad bitch.
We don't know yet.
She's at the top of my shit list, is what she is.
I mean, I want her dead, but for them, I don't know. Does Leah have an answer for that?
Ooh, Hugo's dad. Okay.
Hugo's dad!
Like,
Grandpa Thornwar!
But I do think he's involved. I think my prediction is that he... Because
Wait, who's involved? I was talking over Leah.
Hugo.
Well, now you are now,
he
so we
holds,
can't.
like,
Oh,
wealth
okay.
of knowledge over so many things.
Yes.
And maybe through their research, they needed something in the consortium and they contacted Hugo under a good light. Especially since we know this guy is like the head dude of Fancy Wizard. Whatever that is. So Hugo,
Love her.
whatever he found was too dangerous to give away. Or he figured out that if he gave this information, he would hurt a lot of people. Or because he's a smart guy too. And so he still has that information, and they want that information, and that's why they took him. Or he can get that information. I don't know, but I think he knows more than he's letting on about what this group is. So we shall see. Sorry, Jess, but your dad's a little sus.
Oh, shit! She done said her dad is sus.
I don't think Hugo is inherently sus. I think if her theory holds up, the people who are asking him to look into things are certainly sus.
Yeah.
But Hugo being a villain is just
That's
not
technically
true.
us, though. We're the ones that were asking him to look into this stuff.
No,
Well, he was already looking into it before I got there.
Yeah, she's referring
right.
to.
He sent her.
Yeah.
Right.
I was sent to figure this shit out. But all the shit started happening after I started reporting all of the stuff. That was when he started to lock everything down. So,
I think the
They probably
important question,
connected threads.
Jess,
yeah.
is who is Adrexia Greaves to you?
Me? I didn't know the name.
I believe you made a roll and were familiar with the name,
But I
and
didn't like
several of the names of the
personally
order.
interact with this person
Correct.
in any way. Like it's
Oh,
not
no.
like
There's
a
no connection.
Sounds like something that somebody that's trying to hide something.
Ryan, if I was
That's
doing that,
BBG.
this is not how it would be going. You give me too much damn credit, man.
Eclipse did not multi-class into barbarian. Okay,
To be civil.
just to be
Barbarian
civil with
also.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have handled that a lot better if I had something different going on. I think it's a valid concern because, like, it's a blind faith in a family member. If there is something weird going on, then, you know, then that would be crazy and completely irritating and normal for me. But, yeah.
Oh,
So
God.
we'll see what happens.
Well, going with what Sean said, you, Jess, have chosen to take a level of barbarian with Eclipse. Was this a happy accident, or did you always intended for Eclipse to go this route?
I've never multi-classed in my life.
Nice.
Like, literally ever. I didn't understand the point of it. I never understood the value of it. I never knew how it worked. I thought it was like taking a hit in your overall character and just kind of nerfing yourself for the rest of the campaign, which felt really counterintuitive from like a gaming standpoint. But we just talked about it a lot and we joked about it a lot. And I've also never actually played a barbarian before. So
nice.
It was this weird little mix of it fit perfectly from a mechanics standpoint in terms of wanting to do more closer to my 4E character that I had. I wanted to have the durability and the defensive at the same time. And with the limitations of 5E, that was the perfect unison and also the perfect time to try it out because it was a crossroads on both ends. Fighter kind of does its own thing at 6th level. It's not like anything crazy was lost at the time. It's just something I could get later. Or if I like how everything works, I can dip into Barbarian more and just kind of like middle ground it, if that makes sense. It's like I've got everything I want in Fighter, now I'm getting everything I want in Barbarian and just kind of figure it out from there. And Matt and I have kind of talked about if I get to that point, what that looks like. And if it's even necessary. But I think it's also kind of working right now because of where she is mentally. Her entire world just got turned upside down. And she's had nothing but frustrating incidents getting back home and dealing with everything. And it's been nothing but anxiety and frustration and concern. And it just had to come out somehow. And she hasn't really known any shaken state like that. So her losing composure is kind of what I would call taking the level without going full blind rage.
Also, I feel like it's worth noting that sometimes the dice tell you when a thing in the story is supposed to be happening.
Yeah.
And the dream sequence where your rolls kept getting progressively better and then natural 20'd on the end, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
was like...
Okay, so I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Did you decide before that session that you were going to multi-class into Barb?
Yes.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah.
Because, like...
That was just kind of the, like...
before, I think.
That was, like, the stamp of approval from, like, the game. Like,
Gotcha.
you did it.
Yeah. Gold star!
Here you go.
Yes. Because I think Brian said this at the end of that session, that it always felt that Eclipse was holding something in and never let it out. But we never, like, you didn't even know that you were going to multi-class into Barbarian. But when he said that, I was like, yeah, you know what? Yes, I feel that too. I've always felt that Eclipse was, like, holding herself and not let out that rage, even though she didn't have, like, a striking point.
I mean, in a way, think about her job. Like, if you've ever done retail, or you've ever done anything that involves people, right? Imagine how much time of your day you have to spend there just composed, right? And you're just dealing with it. And the amount of people she's probably had to kick out, reasonably maintaining that composure.
Yeah.
You kind of have to hold back once in a while.
No one here would feel what that is.
Yeah. No one would know. No one for a moment. Like, I think if I had to define it, that's probably the easiest way to look at it. She's, for the sake of her family, had to maintain a level of reputation, and she takes it very seriously.
Thanks. Oh.
So, yeah, that's where we're at now.
Okay. Going with that plot. Let's go. Where should Matt?
Where are we in the roll order?
I'm going willy-nilly now.
That was just to get us started.
That was just to get us started. Because I like when things flow with the story.
I rolled a 3, which is my number 1 number these last couple of weeks.
I was asking. I was going to ask you to roll a d6, but well, never mind.
Oh,
3.
Okay.
Roll a d6.
2.
Okay. So let's start with this one, and then we can roll back, and we'll go way back. Well, not way back, but kind of. So, you guys thoroughly enjoyed the session when you kidnapped and interrogated Cyrus, right? We all know what happened in that session. We are going to talk about it. However, Cyrus had a lot to say about his reasoning behind his research. What are your thoughts as players about this?
About what?
About
Cyrus's motives and justifications. Yeah, that's a good question.
He's into eugenics. There's no incorrect, there's only one correct opinion to have, and that's fucking keep him in prison forever. That's not okay. That'll never be okay.
As a player, yeah, he's a bitch. That was especially because you had Remy there that whole damn time to study this completely ethically. You had the perfect resource to check that out, and you're an idiot for not looking at it. Absolute dumbass of a person.
But I also think there's the possibility, at least, that it was less he didn't go to Remy and more he went to somebody else.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Somebody got a hold of him.
That somebody else, of course, being Adrexia Greaves, who convinced him what the correct way to do things was, which is why he did the things that he did. Do I still think that he's a terrible person? Yes. 100%. But I also think that Adrexia Greaves probably had a pretty decent hand in turning him into that person.
But yeah, I stand 100% by what I said as a clips that day. That was... The curiosity was there, and the understanding of what he was trying to do is completely valid, but fuck him. He's a bitch.
The intent is right. The focus is right. The execution, hell no.
Yeah.
But, and I will say when we really dug into that, it did not seem like he knew the bad parts of what was happening.
Yeah.
So, yes, the method was extremely questionable. I don't know if we have enough at this point to say that the methods were naturally his. That's the hard pill that I have with it. It's like, if he was trying to do this stuff and he was promised by whoever was above him that they were going to help him do this, that sounds like a heyday for somebody. That sounds like everything that you want. But it may have just turned out for him to be a deal with the devil. And the devil always wins.
We'll find out when we get
there. Good phrase. I like that phrase, Brian. Well, in that conversation, something happened. Something very big. So Megan, in a Laura Bailey level of chaos, because now you're the Laura Bailey of this campaign, apparently, you changed all the odds and got the name of a very important individual that you totally shouldn't have. explain the process of how you accomplished that.
My original intention was to read his mind when I asked him. And I can't recall if he made the save when I dove. I think he did. I think he made the saving throw on the detect thoughts. But I could still get his surface level, and the surface level thoughts were the fear of this other creature, this other entity, and that was the whole driving force. He was compelled under suggestion, which is a pretty, and the suggestion that I had phrased was fairly ironclad. Like, I was very careful with the way that I had phrased the suggestion, and we got a ton of information out of him from that. But the wording of suggestion is that they cannot do anything that they believe will cause them harm. And he believed fully that giving that name would cause him physical harm. And it was fear. And I said, well, I can fix that. Like, and it was the phrasing of Matt of saying, like, it was like it's this underlying fear of this entity, whatever this creature is. And I was like, well, for 6 seconds I can make him more afraid of me than anything else. So
the fact that you made the A to B on that will never
Yes.
not impress me.
Yep.
That's the most
I don't think I would have ever thought about that.
It's crazy.
I
Bard's
didn't
gotta
even
go
think
on a whole
about it.
different level, man.
Yeah. I didn't even think about it after she did it because, and I said this in the favorite moments, I think, of that session. After she did it, I just like spilled out without thinking what his internal reaction was because I was in him at that moment and not thinking DM, like big brain DM thoughts. And in that moment, I was like, oh man, well, you just feel the fear of whatever that other thing is blanketed by this fear of you. And I hadn't even connected the A to B that she had at that point, because if I had, I might have tried to DM big brain my way out of that, but I just didn't because it was so natural for that to be his reaction and I was in him. And so then I said that and she was like, give me the name, bitch!
Absolute best use
Yeah.
any necrotic shroud ever.
Absolutely insane. I love that.
Think, as a side note, I think that's where we kind of shine as a group. We've done a lot of things out of combat with utilities that are really crazy. And I think that's one of the coolest things about everybody.
And that's intended to be a combat.
Exactly. That's what
ability.
I mean.
That ability is intended for combat. It is a you're afraid of me. It is an I am too close in the mix. I am a caster. I need to make things afraid of me so that I can get out and give them disadvantage on attacks against me. And then you get here's a boop of necrotic damage just for just for funsies. But it for 6 seconds it did what I needed it to do. Yeah. So I like finding creative ways to use like abilities like that, and I think that's why some of the racial abilities are a lot of fun to explore and like there's spells like that too that are like intended for use in this way, but you're like, what if I turned it this way? It still works.
Insane. I love that. When I didn't even click when that happened, I was like, okay, maybe it will help. It will help. It will do something. But when everything happened, I was like, oh.
I think like for Faye too, it was a little bit of like getting her groove back.
Yeah.
Because that had been quite a few days of just like so much inadequate, like so many feelings of inadequacy and feelings of questioning her own judgment and what did I put my friends through, what did I put myself through, and that was just like the star on the top of Charlie Brown's Christmas tree of the like it's been a bad couple of days, but you did a good. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And even like there's so many things that went right. Like
Yeah.
there was
Mhm.
the tracking for his I think it was a misty step that he used to get out of the house.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Pinging that he
Mm.
got out with perception checks, the initial tackle from Aedwin, the follow-up from Eclipse, the silence, the dagger, the just everything that tied into that. There was everyone touched that encounter. And then
Mhm.
everyone did it again right after in that interrogation room.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
it's a lot of good vibes to feel that because everyone had a hand in it as well, which is huge.
Mhm.
Yeah. Love that.
It felt cohesive, and it felt like we were all on the same page too. And that was one of the first moments where we stood as a front as the heralds and had the
Mhm.
same opinion about something, and not been like,
Yeah.
ah, like in the background, like because we've seen each other's faces when we're talking to people, and we're like, okay, like I wouldn't have said it like that, but we all came together and all agreed, and like like that was satisfying from like a party building standpoint.
Mhm. Let me get you talking a bit more, Megan, because I had a very big question about death.
Oh Jesus.
Ooh.
Death has been a very big or has very big impact on the characters of a game, even if it's not permanent. How do you think Faye's death impacted you as Faye and for everyone else as your characters? And how will that event affect your future?
I knew this question was coming, and it's been a hell of a couple of days, and I didn't think about it. But I think I probably summed up her feelings about it the best when talking to Brightwing the morning after, when I said I'll call it Faye Act 2.
Yeah.
And
Incredible.
yeah, and I think she sees it as like a do-over, like an Uno reverse card, like
Yeah.
I don't know that it will necessarily make her less reckless. I think for right now, it probably gives her a bit of a sense of invulnerability, but also on the flip side of that, a sense of mortality. But knowing that she's got people around that can back her up too, is unique to her. In this kind of a context, like she's got a family unit and stuff, and they've got her back in other ways, but this is a little different and a little deeper.
Yeah.
So I think that's fun to know that you can go out into the world and there's someone at your side, or right behind you, and especially from someone who came from a performance background. It's very cutthroat, it's very dog eat dog, it is fake friends, it is people that want your spot in whatever you're doing. And so I think she's still kind of learning the trust of that, and the fact that these people are not secretly hoping for my downfall. These people genuinely want me to succeed. But then knowing that she would do the same for them, I think is big too. And the realization that, like, oh my God, they did this for me. And I had the moment too afterwards as we were leaving the consortium of like, Brightwing, I didn't even say thank you. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't have time. I didn't even think about it. But that was mostly me, but it was also her probably reaction of just like, oh my God, like, thanks. But like, that's not enough.
Yeah.
So I don't know what everyone else thinks. I can't speak for anybody else.
So what does everyone else think?
Wow.
Yikes.
Aedwin cared a lot until he had to go. And then his priorities immediately shifted. But while he was still there, he was, in the greatest form of irony, filled with the same feeling of inadequacy that Faye was in that moment for not being able to stop any of this from happening. Because that is why he joined the Swords in the first place, was to prevent this sort of thing from taking place. And not only is he disappointed in himself for not being able to do anything, he's disappointed that the Swords weren't already on top of this. You know, like, it is part of their responsibility is to protect the people. And in a city where there is a sheath based, the fact that this oversight was allowed to occur, yeah, he saw as extremely unacceptable. So he faced a lot of shame from a lot of different directions when that happened. And he'll process it eventually. But he's got to get some other shit wrapped up first.
Good
It's,
answer.
Good answer.
It's an interesting one for Yazneb, because obviously his own changeling stuff is something that's been a slow shift over time. And the interesting dynamic with Faye is she is the one that he gradually started to trust more and more, and voluntarily told eventually. And this is actually one thing that I had made as a choice for him before. There was a conversation, which we won't talk about what happened during the conversation because I believe that it was in a whisper, but there was a conversation before they got to Sawfeld. And there was one specific line that Faye had used in that conversation, and it hit him a little bit differently. And I was at that point kind of in the same mentality that Matt was, where I was thinking as Yazneb, and it's like, this is a good time to do it. But he didn't. He held back to say, because also he had just talked to Eclipse. And he was already confused with Eclipse because he didn't know if she knew or not. And after the conversation, he had the vibe that she did know. But Faye was a little bit different. And then being at that point where he was between telling and not telling, and then having her die, was that moment where he thought to himself, like, I just need to tell it, because I don't know if I'm going to have a chance to, and get on to that different level of disclosure and that different level of trust. Because the only other outreach he had was with Eowyn, which has been very rocky. Like, gave him the axe, had a couple of conversations here and there, and he wasn't quite there with Eowyn, but for Faye, he had that moment where he hesitated, and that wasn't very common for him. He's usually pretty decisive, and he usually has a handle on where he's at. So it was impactful by quite a bit.
Yes?
Yeah, I think both as a player, that shit was hard to take as a player. Because I told her to do it, I chased after her to get there, and I couldn't keep up. All of those things together, I genuinely was like, wow, I'm such a piece of shit right now. Like, it fucking sucked. And for Eclipse, it's the same thing. If she was faster, if she was more on top of it, if she'd just gotten there, like, would it have been any different? Could I have blocked it? Could I have saved her? Could I have done anything? Could I have stopped them? It was so many what ifs, and to sum it up to picking up a limp body and never having really dealt with that before. Like, yeah. And not even knowing, like, if her dad's in the same state. It was a lot to take in at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even now with, like, Eowyn leaving, it's on her now. There's nobody else to back up that kind of shit happening again. Like, I gotta keep Brightwing up, Faye up, and Yasna up. Because that can happen to any of them now, and I can't fix that. So yeah, she's...
I see that as
Everyone's
an
life is
opportunity.
suddenly way more fragile than it was before. Like, Seraph was one thing, but Seraph was already there before we'd even gotten to him. Kind of a thing. So it was like, there was no saving that. So yeah, she is... I think that's why after the runes and everything that we did the reading for, she just lost her shit. Because she doesn't know what the hell to do right now. But she has to be strong. Because that's her job.
What was your point of view as a DM, Matt?
Oh wow.
Is this is this the first time that you've killed a PC?
Besides Seraph?
Besides Seraph? But I mean, Sarah
was already dead.
Seraph is a little different.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we've already had a character death and it hurt like a bitch, but we couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah,
well,
this time we could do something about it. We just had to wait 6 weeks. But
exactly, that's that. I think it was even longer than that, but that's the big thing is Seraph was raised within like
the same
10
session.
in-game minutes. In fact, he was being raised before most of the party even knew he was dead.
Right.
Yeah.
But on this one, just because of the scheduling situation, we had to sit on it for like 8+ weeks.
Yeah.
So that was tough. But
Leah?
yeah, thanks, Leah.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
the main thing I was thinking in the moment is why Faye? Because, and I think I mentioned this, that was probably the person I expected least to come through that door at any point. And there was a very, very high, or at least I'll say a decent chance that no one was going to go through there in time to see anything. In fact, that's a large part of what that encounter down in the that large like hallway was this is meant to delay the party, but certain members in the party just said nah, dipped right out, and then did so at an unbelievable flying speed, and I did not expect it to be Faye. I expected it to be Eclipse, very likely. Maybe Yasnit because of his speed, maybe Aedwin because he's a tanky lad and it would make sense for him to go in first. Brightwing and Faye, I was like, there's no way they're going to be the ones going in this door. And then Faye got there, and I don't think I even had to look at her health to know that it was going to be real bad if she went in, and then she did go in. And there was a couple rolls to see if... Actually, I think there was a roll to see if you could get something off before you were hit, but even in that situation, based off what you were going to cast, he still would have hit you. And yeah, he was waiting, so I knew that there was going to be a big chunk of damage. But it being Faye with lower hit points and a lower armor class, and yeah, it was the worst of scenarios probably, so that was very surprising to me.
I think I'm the squishiest.
Yeah, at that time you certainly were. I think Brightwing might be now.
I'm at armor class.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, armor class and health combined. Almost certainly.
I do have a interesting question, and this may or may not be one that you can answer. Did he roll a disadvantage?
It was a flat roll because it was a surprise.
Yeah.
Flat roll because it was a surprise. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Because, after the fact...
We ran that number so many times, and it was that's exactly what happened.
After the fact, I was trying to figure out how it was logistically possible, and I completely forgot that surprise attack is a thing that can happen.
The amount of time we spent trying to figure out whether or not the loot would become visible when I dropped it was
yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
That was hours.
Of like, if you pick something up and you're invisible, does it become invisible? Probably. So if you drop something, like a lot of that.
Philosophication.
It came down to the ruling, which is something that I think all DMs have to remember. When you get knocked unconscious, you drop whatever you're holding.
Yeah.
You don't just hold on to it, you drop it.
Mm.
And that is a wording for unconscious.
Yeah.
Like shields.
Read your rules.
Like shields.
They can help.
True.
Oh, God. Do you have Leah's answer for that?
Yes, Leah.
Ooh. The death of Faye had a very big impact on Brightwing, and I tried to play that on screen. But the biggest word I can equivalent to what she was feeling throughout is fear. And that's fear finding out she was dead, fear when the revivify was happening, and so on afterwards. It's the reason why she was with Faye throughout the entire time of her being revivified, and like staying up well after Faye was comfortable in the sleep to make sure she was okay. And I can say to you that there was 2 outcomes with how Brightwing was going to feel about this. If the revivify didn't work, she put the failure all on herself and be like, of course it didn't work because I did it, and it failed. And now, even though it succeeded, I got lucky, and that's the only reason why it worked. And Matt even told us when he rolled that it truly was barely that Faye came back.
It was a 7.
And I tried to play that off again that Brighton was like, I know it didn't. It almost didn't work. I got lucky, and it almost didn't work. So we will see how it plays out in the future. I will also say, the biggest fear for Brightwing with that is that it was truly and 100% solely on her, probably for the first time in her life. And I could equate that to like a doctor or residency. They have all the training, but they still are under a supervisor who is like making sure they're doing everything right in order to not commit malpractice. But, you know, one day they're not going to be a residency and they're going to be a full-fledged doctor, and everything they do and say is their choice. The residency people still have their own choices, but they're like heavily supervised. So for Brightwing, as a My High, she was under supervision most of the time when she was back home, whether by her mentor or fellow My High, when healing people. And they live in a forest where, you know, they don't have, like, it's kind of an end-all be-all situation there. Truly wild. Anything can happen. Forest fires, earthquakes, you know, whatever. So there's plenty of healing to go around. But it's truly, someone's life in their hands has truly not ever been in Brightwing's hands. It's always been Brightwing supporting everyone in that case. And even with the group, she truly hasn't been the sole healer of the group. She's the main healer, but everyone else has had healing, whether it's health potions, healing hands, self-healing with with Eclipse. You know, it hasn't been just Brightwing that can keep people up. But in the sense of this Revivify, it truly wasn't all on her. So even though it worked, and even though Faye's back, the fear of having to do that again and it not working is very much present in Brightwing. So, you know, much like last episode with the cliff and her facing a fear, she's gonna have to face that one again. So we'll see how that one plans out. So.
I hated that cliff.
For the record, it was not luck. It was the party members' contributions that brought that DC down low enough that a 7 still succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
But still.
God damn it. God. Thanks, Leah, for that lovely
Residents.
Okay. Let's go for a lighter note, you guys. One that Leah wants to ask. I may be the host of this show, but Leah comes up with the most questions. She's a very curious individual. I just asked them for her. What modern day activity would you want to do with the members of the party?
Ooh!
I said, listen, I had a very incredible idea. I would go with Eclipse to like a trampoline park. I feel like that would be
She would shred the...
Yeah, all of them would be popped.
Yeah.
Dude, the amount of property damage that Eclipse would then be responsible for.
Oh my gosh.
He would need a really good lawyer.
Well, I can say that I have a hike out here in Los Angeles that is really more of a rock climbing adventure, and I'd take literally all my friends on it that are willing to go.
Is it the one that you tried to take us on?
Sorry,
yes,
Matt.
and we couldn't go
because the water was
not
like
the one that I
fucked.
Yeah, not the one that we did go on where we almost died from walking in the sun for 7 hours.
Listen,
Oh God,
we don't talk about it. We're moving on.
But yes, because that would be super fun to do an outdoors climbing adventure, especially after this last episode.
That's fucked.
Hey, you guys made it. I don't know what the problem
is.
is.
What did we determine the average strength of that particular group was an 11?
11.2, yeah.
God damn.
he bet.
So just hiking?
And
rock climbing,
trampoline parks.
So the question is, what would we as people want to do?
Yes.
Okay.
Pardon.
Fuck.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would want to do science with Remy.
Oh, true.
Yes.
I would
Yeah,
love for
that's
her to explain something to me and me not understanding shit about what she has.
I'd go to Remy's TED Talk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if the question was in our modern world. Was that specified?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
What
the world?
modern
Okay.
activity would you as people want to do with the members of the party?
Yeah.
All
So
of
I
them?
feel
'Cause
like-
I feel like the interests
No,
are
no, it's
varied.
not.
It can be individual.
No, it doesn't have to be.
You can pick and choose. Yeah.
We'd have to go to the zoo with Brightwing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
She'd
Oh.
be so devastated
shit.
in real time,
Absolutely.
though. Like,
Oh, dude,
she'd be
Brightwing
so
It would
would
just
upset
be
in
like,
real
so much
time.
like
she would be sobbing the
Yeah.
whole time.
I want to know what the encounter between Brightwing and Barnaby would be.
Oh my gosh.
Holy
Mm-mm.
shit.
I don't.
That's.
No.
I don't know if that one can be topped. That's pretty damn good.
Jesus Christ.
I think it's like trampoline park with Eclipse, karaoke with Faye.
Oh, true.
Yes.
Yeah, the safari park or something, or maybe like just general. I feel like a lot of these things are just things that we could do in Anthara too, but like maybe like a bird watching expedition or like an aviary
yeah,
situation
yeah.
with Brightwing or something like more open where she could like interact.
An African safari kind of thing.
Perhaps a
Yeah.
deep sea fishing trip. I'm sure Aidwin would love that.
Oh my god, I'm
Both.
I think because
Aiden would just
like
be
you're
watching
saying how
paint
there's
dry.
such a diverse interest among the party, I'd take him to a theme park. I think there's
Yeah.
enough to do at a theme park that you could find
Yeah,
something
yeah.
for everybody.
Oh my god, could you imagine everybody in the Anthara cast going to Universal? Guys.
Yeah,
Mhm.
We would be such an issue.
but like, and it's kind of like,
Us though, as humans.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
also true,
Like,
yes.
but I
We
think
did that
would
with almost
be-
half of it.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Like it worked out. It's fine. I think that would be the vibe. Because again, you could find places people want to go. You could meet the expectations of pretty much everybody. People that don't want to go on stuff. You got the thrill seekers, you got the ones who can handle it, the ones that don't. Like you'd have something for everybody. And I think that would be really fun to do.
Who would be the one that hates roller coasters?
I feel like she would hate
It'd have to be Brightwing.
Yeah, Brightwing would
Yeah.
hate roller
Brightwing
coasters.
would
They're
hate roller coasters.
super technological,
Well-
very metal, high.
It would
Zoomies.
depend, right? Because
Zoomies.
if it's something that's very visual, like one
Like
of the
Soarin' Over
AR kind of
California?
rides, I
If it
think
was-
that would mess her up. But if
if
it's
it was a
something that you can
Superman
see
ride.
from up high, yeah, if it's something that's
She would
kind of like
love the Superman
emulating
ride.
flying or something you could see up high, I think that would be really
Mm.
different.
She likes
But-
the boots.
Exactly.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think
Take her on
it's.
the Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
It's a slow way up, quick way down.
Yeah.
dude, that ride is so good.
So good.
I love that ride so much. But yeah, something like that. I think that would fill everybody's niche in there.
Yeah, Snip would come back with like a corn dog, a turkey leg on a stick,
Yeah.
like a fried Twinkie.
There would be
like,
eating
all the
contests.
food.
There would
Yes.
be like
Yes, there would.
You could just sit and watch a show.
She would also be the cast member.
Yes.
He would be
Yes.
any of the characters that
You would
were
just
at
sneak
the
in.
location. Yeah.
Okay,
He'd get you
I
guys
just
backstage turning into personnel.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
What are you doing, Sean? What you answer?
Well,
What you got?
so well, to go off the theme park thing, going back to Universal, which one of the party members would get the big ass Simpsons donut?
maybe Eclipse.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't
is
think
Eclipse not a
Eclipse-
sweeties?
Mm.
Not a big sweets. Remy.
Eclipse like a lean meat
Remy-
diet. Oh,
Remy-
Remy for
Eclipse
sure.
would get it
Remy
for
would
Remy.
both.
I think
Yes.
that's really how that
Yes.
would go.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
she'd be like, "Yeah, I'll
Right.
grab you when it's fine," and then bring it back and be like, "Here you go."
Remy would be like, "Hey, Eclipse, you want to split one of these with me?" And Eclipse would be like, "Sure," and then take one bite, and Remy would eat the rest.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just like a pizza slice out of the whole
Yeah.
fucking one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also very high on the list, there is a paintball place near me
Yes!
where the whole experience
Boy.
is built out like a miniaturized war zone in Afghanistan
It's
or
so
something.
freaking cool.
Uh-huh.
There's like all these buildings you can go through, and
Yeah.
they even have like clotheslines and stuff to make it feel like
Yep.
you're there, and downed helicopters and things like that.
Oh,
Mhm.
it's
Doing that
so
with the
good.
party would be sick.
That's
love
morbid.
So the
Dude,
problem with
They're
that
so
is that Edwin would take it too seriously.
Oh
So it
yes,
wouldn't-
Everyone
exactly.
would be the
It
one that
wouldn't
gets
be
really
fun.
hurt.
It wouldn't
But-
be fun. He would just ruin the whole thing for everyone.
You can be on a team with all
Yeah.
the party members against
big-
another team.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
one
yeah.
question, Matt, is
We would split it up.
can he smite on a paintball shot?
No, it's a ranged attack.
No,
It's a
this
ranged
has to be
attack roll.
melee.
Range
Yeah.
attack.
But he definitely would
pistol
be
whip.
like leading the entire squad and
Yeah.
like doing hand motions.
Yeah.
And we would all just be like, yeah, that's fun. And like,
Meanwhile, Brightwing is just like, what is
Yep.
this?
Hello.
Well, no, she'd know exactly what it is because she knows sign language. She would totally figure that out.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
True.
She would definitely have that down.
But she would be the one to yell out in the middle and
That is
just
correct.
give away our
Yes.
position and totally
Yeah.
It
fuck
would
the
be
round
like
up.
up
Wait,
on
we
the
can make a
doing?
truce.
Yeah. Faye would be just full stealth.
Oh.
I
Dude,
feel
it's-
like she
yeah.
would be so confused by the concept of a gun that shoots paint.
Also that.
Yeah.
It'd
be
be
like,
Probably
let's
friendly
see if he's
fire
this.
would ensue.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Faye and Edwin would have a quick shootout.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
At some point.
Hey. So, Brian,
Mm-hmm.
I know that you have touched on this a bit when you talked about Faye dying. Explain. Justify or, like... Because I do have another question, but I want you to... Not justify, because that's not the word I'm
Elaborate?
looking for. Yeah.
On what?
On what?
On why Yasnip decided to show his true self to Faye. Was there a turning point?
We can share the details of that conversation if you'd like. We're far enough past it to be a secret.
So
That whisper.
So one of the conversation that happened on the riverside, there was a number of things, and the thing that had piqued Yasnip's interest, that had come out with that, was the fact that Faye had openly announced that she had a way to read people's minds, and that was a point where, and I messaged Matt this specifically, he got paranoid, and I said anytime that there's downtime and anytime that they're not doing anything, Yasnip is going to continuously imagine Faye being completely covered in everything that shambling mound creature was made of, because he knew that she didn't like that stuff. She knew that she didn't like being dirty, or he knew that she didn't like being dirty, and he was waiting to see if she would poke in and find out that he was thinking about that. So he asked her, and the line that she gave was, and I you might be able to correct me with this, but it was something to the effect of, with us being where we are, the other people in our group need to know what we're capable of. They need to know what our abilities are. And that was the point, because he internalized mind reading being something of like, why would you tell people that? Why wouldn't you just use it as an advantage? Why would you openly state it? And that was kind of that moment of like, maybe there's more power in sharing that information, even if it's with specific people. And that's where that shift started. Towards the end, to elaborate on why and why Faye, he's out of options. He needs help, and he could not come up with a way that was in some fragment or some shell truthful as to why he needed help with this piece of paper. And with the way that it was received by Eclipse helping him, even though he still felt like she already knew, and the comments that she had, the history that they had started to create, and the thoughtfulness that she had talking about like doing the disc throwing in Elmara and giving the hand drum and doing all this stuff, talking about theater, like all these little things that were starting to be shared, it made him feel more and more comfortable, still stepping out of his comfort zone, but asking for help. And as part of that, I'm gonna tell you the truth about why I need help, because I've got nothing else. And he tried. That was the last night in Olea that they had. He was walking, he was looking for information to help, and he couldn't find it.
Damn. I like that answer. Let me ask the rest of the party this. And I'm going to read it as it was given to me. Yasnip/Nas/whatever the fuck has opened up quite a bit in the last few days. How much does your character trust him as a result? And what is their general demeanor towards him?
I literally cannot answer this question, so I'm just going to sit back and let everybody else go ahead and talk.
Let me ask you this. Does Adwin have does Adwin think of Yasnib as sus? As like he's hiding something?
Yes.
All the time.
I think it, like, there's not...
That's been, like, his constant state of being.
Yeah, there's not... I think you would be hard-pressed to find a single member of this party that wasn't at some point in their lives suspicious of Yasnib. Even Brightwing admitted at some point that she was a little...
she was like that
what
for, like,
Yasnib was doing.
Almost 3 sessions after she found out about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, 100%. Despite that, Eowyn looked past it until it became relevant, because it was more important to him that Yasnib was capable and good at what he did, because the job needed to be done first and foremost. That was his priority. And so as long as Yasnib was able to provide that, Eowyn was fine. Now, when it came up as an issue, Eowyn wanted to press, because he's still not a fan of not having all of the information. When Eowyn does have all of the information, he's a lot more comfortable. And he has been extremely uncomfortable for a very, very long time because of everything that's going on in the world. And so even one piece, just one piece from Yasnip would have been enough to at least ease some of that, and he still couldn't get it. So, yeah. After, I think, the deal with Remy's tower and all of that, he just sort of resigned himself to that fate, and he was like, all right, I'm not going to find out anything else about this fucker, so we're just going to move on. So, yeah.
I don't think Faye sees him as untrustworthy. I think she's probably jealous.
Yeah.
From an aspect of like, do you know how successful I would be? I wouldn't have to be out slogging it with like in the trenches, kind of but like that's also kind of an antiquated mindset. But jealousy to an extent, but also like understanding of why that would need to be hidden and why it took him so long to come around. But also, it's still you. Regardless of what form you're in, it's still you, and regardless of what you choose to be or look like or portray, it like she feels that she knows you enough that whatever form you take, it doesn't matter. Because you are still inside. And you are the one that she trusts, be it Yasnip, Naz, Azalea, whoever it is.
Cute answer. Dress?
I mean, Eclipse was already kind of aware of it, like as a whole. I think Matt had me roll for it that if I'd heard of something like that before. And I think having been through what they'd been through and noticing that it was for the sake of protecting your family, there's a huge amount of respect for using that ability in that way instead of, like going out and not even knowing anything that Yasnif does and whether or not this is the case, whatever, it's not even my fucking place to judge it. But like using it for malicious purposes, backstabbing people because you can, like doing things like that because you can just become somebody different and no one's gonna find out about you. It's for his family. And whether or not it's the entire family or just chunks of it, I don't think he disclosed that to me in any way, shape, or form, but it's just, I've got you. It's an information that is meant to be protected, and I'm going to do my best to do it. And if you're comfortable doing it for the sake of us, fantastic, but I will never ask to do that as a mission goal. It will always be, I will plan everything else unless you decide that you want to do it. So it's just an ability that he has. Same with magic in that way. If someone had the ability to do disguise self, it would be a last resort because there has to be a backup plan. So,
yeah.
Good answer,
Wholesome. Good answer.
It's not the first time I've dealt with it as a player, so thank God it's working out this way.
Ooh, nice. Okay. We're gonna take a big break because I am starving. welcome back. We have the incredible Kalia somewhere. I don't know where he is. I'm gonna do clockboard thingies. Oh no, where am I?
No, you had it. No.
There. Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one.
yeah, somewhere. Yeah.
Anyways, hi Halia. If you don't know her, she plays the wonderful Remy in Adventures in Aanthara. The first question, I have questions for you, Halia. Are you willing to answer? Please say yes.
That is the most.
I'll have to think
important
about it.
Okay.
Damn
Okay.
it.
Just say no and then just disconnect.
I came in and said no.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
my god. Okay. First question. It says you had a unique situation because the baseline for your character was constructed by Matt and Jess. How was it building on that foundation and then playing that character?
It was a lot of fun. I mean, it's always, easier when you have something like a connection already in the group.
Mm-hmm.
It also a character that I probably wouldn't have come up with by myself. I think a little bit of a challenge was that kind of mechanically and conceptually, Remy's very similar to Theo, who I play in
Yeah.
Shout out BB&B.
Bullets, EB&B. So it was fun to try to figure out ways to make her different.
Mm-hmm.
Which you did.
It was incredible, Halia. I don't think I've ever laughed that hard at a character being just normally them. Like not being intrinsically like funny, intentionally funny.
That almost feels bad, but it's fine.
Well, it wasn't laughing at her
For being
It
her.
was- Yeah.
Okay. Where was that other question? Oh, I have a question from a spectator.
Ooh.
The question says, maybe you have talked it in game. Can't remember. To be completely honest, where did you find Edgeworth?
Ooh.
That's a good question.
Was it in a dragon lair?
Yeah.
You gotta tell us
Oh?
right now. Oh?
Yeah, the Dragon Lair is it's like a hardware and plant store in Alea.
Facts.
I love that Talking Aanthara is me creating canon lore
Yep.
in the campaign. I
Yep.
love that for my show.
Hold on
So
while I write this
it's a
down.
plant
real quick.
What's the
nursery. A
last
plant
name of the person
nursery.
that owns it?
Hold on. I'm gonna write it under Leonardo McGulligan and the Come Bach Soon Stables. Which
What?
Is lore,
I did not
that is
remember that
lore,
one.
Sorry, hold on. The
Hay
what?
Heist. That's
that
the
is lore
first-
from the
yeah,
Hay Heist. Yep.
From Hay Heist.
Oh, true.
Oh no.
And
Oh,
also
God,
that bowler hats
no.
are catching on in Proward. That's also in there.
Incredible. I love this.
That's fine.
I love this fucking game. Did you come up with a name, Halia?
The name, yeah. Well, I had Digby first. I knew I wanted to kind of make her, like, kind of blurring the edges between wizard and sorcerer.
Yeah.
And I wanted her to have a familiar. So I had Edgeworth, and then I was like, you know what, let's just make her a little bit more like Miss Frizzle. And just like really eccentric, just carries around a potted plant. Thought that'd be fun.
Incredible.
The inspiration of Miss Frizzle makes so much
It
sense in
works.
retrospect now.
It
It
works
really
so
is
much.
extraordinary.
Oh, I love it.
Wow. Wow.
Well, I asked this question to the party before, Talia, but I'll ask it to you, and then we'll see Leah's answer because I completely forgot she had an answer for this question. What modern day activity would you want to do with the party? It could be in a group, it could be just a specific character, it could be only Remy.
We said we go to Remy's TED Talk.
TED Talk
Yeah.
fun.
Uh-huh.
I think maybe like a screening of Jeopardy with Remy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Christ.
no.
Heaven.
Yes! This is so much
Wow.
So true.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
I think like,
Also the Discovery Science Center off
Yes.
the freeway with Remy would be so good.
um
Hashtag SoCal Talk.
I'll take apples for 600.
Mhm.
I think just like an art class or a pottery class with the whole group would be
Nice.
an experience.
Oh,
One of
an
those paint and
experience,
drink
definitely.
nights.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That
Hell
would be
yeah. Also, going to like a museum and Remy being like, "Did you know that actually?"
Mhm.
You know, like,
Flag is
really-
Went out to
wrong.
real
Yeah,
life.
she
Yeah.
pointed out
Flag
all
is
the
wrong.
inconsistencies.
It wasn't
Yeah.
1999.
This is actually
Incredible.
8 other dinosaur skeletons that they put together into one.
Amazing. And it was like, how do you know that? Well, see, the bone that's right there. It's like,
Oh, and that's an artificial socket for that hip.
That's
Mm.
not
insane. So good. Oh my god. Do we have Leah's answer?
Yeah.
Ooh, what modern activity? I have this one. I was the one that asked this question to Cammy. I had my answer immediately, and I can't tell you why I had this answer immediately. But my modern activity would be building a Lego set with Yasnib. And I
Oh,
can't tell you why I would find so much joy in doing this. But I just think that would be the best afternoon spent. And I think it's also comes from Leo wanting just to hang out with Brian. And that's
True.
also what I'm learning here. But,
Can confirm,
yeah,
A+
building a
experience.
Lego set with Yasna would be a fun afternoon, and no one can deny that. So.
That also inspires an escape room.
Mm.
An
Yeah.
escape room with a
Yeah.
party would be so
Yeah.
good.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
Everybody
God.
would be going about it in a different way.
Yes.
I would sit in the corner.
It's
an
funny.
escape room.
The Legos with Brian reminds me of the setup that we had to have for when we were in the hotel room with like the
Yeah.
camera up on the wine
Mm.
bottle and like the camera, the microphone like clamped to the edge of the table and like the dice trays, and that was a lot of fun.
Creating that setup is like building Legos, yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
It's like adult
Oh.
Legos because you got to drink before.
Well, yeah, you can't do it with a full bottle. What's the fun in that?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Brian, did you have a question?
Oh, Remy blew up.
No.
Holly.
It's okay. It's okay.
Bye, Halia.
He'll be back.
It's just the camera.
With the recent purpose of apples, I would like to know what each character's favorite type of apple is. I will say that Yasnib's is Honeycrisp.
Shoot.
Honeycrisp is solid.
Yeah.
Edwin probably has never eaten a real apple in his life
Oh
because
my
they
gosh.
don't really have apples where he lives. And he also really likes eating animals. So
Yeah. Meat.
it's distinctly possible that he has not actually had an apple ever.
Have you guys had Cosmic Crisp apples?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would probably be Faye's a little more.
Okay. This is a
We're in the
reach.
red realm. We're in the
Uh-oh.
red
This is
realm.
this is a reach. Has anyone ever had those like grape apples?
Hold on.
I have
I'm
never seen
screenshotting.
that.
I'm screenshotting. Copy. Look at what is on my internet screen right now.
Oh my god, are
Is it
you
grape
serious?
apples? On God.
Graples. They're called graples.
Yeah, they're called graples.
Yep, I
Wait,
was
were you
double
looking
checking
this
what
up
they were
too?
called.
Like-
Yes.
But they're the weirdest thing, and I had them when I was little, but they were expensive. But they're the coolest mix of flavors. And honestly, with hanging out with Remy, I think this would be her favorite. I think they would like fuck up one day and come upon this nonsense and then just have it, and it's like her favorite thing, period. Because it's so unique and you cannot get it anywhere else.
It's also science. Because it's
Yeah,
definitely
exactly.
like injected or something.
It
I don't
would
know.
be some wackadoo thing that Remy would come up with.
Yeah.
And it would be amazing, and I love how they taste. And I haven't had them in so long, I don't think they exist anymore.
Okay.
Remy invented this?
Maybe.
I
Has
don't
anyone else
know.
besides Jess and I had one of these?
I haven't had one.
No.
Okay, I wonder if... Wait, Holly, you haven't either?
I don't think so.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I was going to wonder if it was like a fad down here, but then you would have had it. They are fire.
They're really good.
They were
Like,
so good.
They're
you
they're
were a
really
kid?
good.
Oh my gosh. And Mike, they're clearly not natural healthy apples, so it was
Yeah,
like more of a
they're-
treat. We had to convince our parents to let us buy them.
Yeah, because they come in like a pack of 4 or like
Mhm.
6. Like you had to get them in a plastic container, and they were
Yep.
off to the side from the normal apples. They were not. They
Yep.
were segregated in every way. They were like, these are not real. And we're like, but please. They were so good.
Oh
I'm
my
so
God.
that's so
That's
funny that you were looking
hilarious.
them up at the
That's
same time.
hilarious. Oh.
Incredible.
Holy shit.
I'm gonna answer, even though I'm not a character, by saying that the only 2 apples that I know are the red ones and the green ones.
Oh, buddy.
All right. So,
Like Red Delicious.
Do you
Red
mean-
is great.
Which are not delicious.
Yeah, Red Delicious are awful.
Red Delicious are disgusting.
Those are the most basic of
Yeah.
apple
The
literally
saddest
to exist.
apple.
And we're talking about like the deep red apples, right?
Yeah.
Like the,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
ba-
Yeah, the very basic red apple.
so damn basic.
Mm-mm.
By red apple, do you mean Honeycrisps, Empires, Brayburns, Cortlands, Cameos,
Yeah,
Ambrosias, Macoons?
Fuji's
Fuji's are
Ambrosia-
fire.
Ambrosia
Yeah.
apples too. Ambrosias are
Ambrosias
so good.
Ambrosias are really good.
I
I don't know.
They're
The
so-
color,
Yeah.
the ones that are the color red.
like the deep
Green-
red.
Green
Like the
apples
snowflake.
are for caramel.
Green apples.
True.
Are so
If you
good.
eat green apples
And
straight
pies.
up without dipping them
I've
in
never
caramel, that's
had-
a problem.
A caramel apple.
Oh, so good.
I don't think.
I rest
Green.
my case.
Well, I used to get little caramel dipping sauce thingies and eat the green
Yeah.
apples.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay, everyone, let's get away from the topic of apples, please.
Oh, fine.
Wait, we didn't get
Remy's
Remy's.
favorite though.
Oh, do we get the Remy's?
I think Remy's are those like the mini apples that are like bite-sized.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. God, those ones are also good. Ugh.
They're like bite size, but they're like a kiwi size.
They're like
Yeah.
they're like
Yeah.
that big.
Little BB.
Yeah.
Itty bitty BBs.
Do we get what she thought when she received those apples from Yasnev?
We got a letter.
We got a letter.
We got a
Oh,
letter.
she got a letter.
The
True,
most
true.
incredible letter ever written by any
Yes.
D&D character
With a
ever.
works cited.
Yes.
With
Yeah.
it.
Insane. So good. Oh my
What
god.
happens when you
Thank
have
you,
other
Mother.
important stuff to do?
That is very fair.
Okay, let me ask you this. Through 41 sessions, who do you think are your greatest allies and greatest enemies outside of the Heralds?
Important
Four.
distinction.
Clert's greatest ally.
By far.
By far.
We successfully brainwashed him into serving us without
Hell yeah.
Claire is my
any
greatest
kind
enemy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Okay, so here I'll make my case this way. Okay. Clert gave us details about a group of bandits
yes.
that could also potentially be a way into this Brenizen mob, which may or may not be this link with these assassins, and is also tied to the casino, which I am entirely excited for still.
We are going in the opposite direction, my friend.
I know. We've told Rylus a lot of stuff, but has he ever really done anything?
He literally just got done giving us money. He gave us a fuckload of money.
We got money from Clert's thing.
Yeah.
Not a lot. We didn't take
Not as much as Rylus.
Wait, how much did Rylus get? He gave us 500 gold, right?
He gives a lot of money.
No.
No,
It was
500.
like
I
200?
believe it was 250.
Yeah,
it
it was
wasn't a lot.
Mm-mm.
And we
This
had,
game, 250.
we had like 13 of those bandanas, and I think they're like
Yeah.
20 something a piece.
Mm.
So I mean,
Poor.
or yeah, for the details that we got about the assassins, we got 2/5 of that off of Cyrus.
Mm.
So, and that was just
True.
in his
So
pocket.
Cyrus is yeah.
Yeah. We definitely took that kid's lunch money, and he absolutely deserved it.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
I think the Ivory Guard is powerful. That I wouldn't necessarily call them an ally. I'd call them like
An
we are
obstacle.
slightly above, like on the scale of like what your companions think of you. We're slightly above the halfway mark with them.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Like
If we were to do a
like
grid,
the scales
like
of
we did
favor
with the
has been
characters.
tipped this way a little bit.
I think we have the mayor of Softfield kind of in our pocket.
a little bit.
And the mayor of Broward.
They're not powerful people though.
They are of the town.
Of the
Of the
town.
town.
Mother Mia's a good one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
To counterpoint with the Ivory Guard, I think Aedwin's opinion of the swords is Eclipse's opinion of the Ivory Guard right now. She's like, where the fuck were you the whole time? Like, she's been pissed at them like the most of the time, and she's only been dealing with it because they're the law. She respects them, but also she's like, what did you what? It's your job.
How much information was truly shared with them up until that point? Like they didn't have any idea. It was all internal, and it was hush hush for a reason.
But they're guards. You know what I mean? It's like my job is to guard the library,
Yeah.
right? And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
but their job is to guard the city. You'd think for the rest of the damn place they'd have been there or something, and some of them were, just not a lot of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was
I also
really
think
frustrating.
it's quite worth noting that honestly, probably the strongest allies that we've had are the other like guest PCs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like that bar none, Remy, Vana, Seraph. I mean, like getting into Aryanu, like all these other ones that have been part of Anthara.
The ranger in Raygrove, the one that guided us.
Solomon.
Yes, they were clutch.
Mhm.
Because I think that was also the same person we. Yeah, that was also the same person we fought that like weird zombie blob creature thing in the town that fell and everything. Like we got him closure. We did that. He's probably one of the greater like just normal NPC allies that we had that helped us with anything. Like I think they're awesome. Clert's man, like whatever. That's valuable. Yes, I'm glad we have him.
He's also still just a resource, though.
He better not fucking stab me. I swear to God.
There's a difference between allies and resources, and I think
exactly.
I think of the Scarlet Sword as a resource, not as an ally.
Correct.
Same thing with the Ivory Guard. Same thing with literally everybody else. I don't know that we really have.
I don't
people
think that Rylus is in ally territory either.
No,
I think I think Rylus is
Rylus is now an accomplice with our nonsense.
Like
he's probably the closest thing outside of a resource.
Yes.
Yeah, because he's like resource adjacent.
Yeah.
But I think for sure the ranger from Breaker, because that guy put a lot of faith in us. We put a lot of faith in him. He was nothing but helpful the entire time.
Well, for that matter, like all of the rangers there, like that whole group.
Yeah, that whole faction was like Raygrove in general is just Yes.
Because that's also the Seedkeeper Druids. And we did them a fucking solid.
Yes, we did.
So, and we haven't really been back, and that's probably a link that we'd have to explore at some point, which we probably need to reconnect with, because they also had they killed the Blightling, right? They brought it back, and then they ended up killing it, I think, or something like that, because they figured it out. I can't remember. That was a while ago.
They might have. We might have to go back and look, but
we might have to go back and look. Lore Keeper.
We'll figure it out.
Taking it down.
They're still alive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can also just check in. It's not. If we can't find out now, we'll
go check in.
I think
we could.
As far as like allies that we may have that are powerful enough to do anything, we're a little limited.
Yeah.
I say this kind of selfishly, but the Rosewoods are a potentially powerful connection politically because of the history, and financially they have some sway. So like that is a connection in the same way that the Scarlet Sword and the Consortium and like the Ivory Guard is. I wouldn't necessarily call it, I wouldn't rely on them in a combat situation by any means, but
well, at least not all of them.
Yeah, the one specifically, okay.
Yeah.
The seeds are sown to grow potential allies, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But we haven't really. I guess it's a level of commitments. We haven't really committed to the Ivory Guard. We haven't really committed to the Sword. We haven't really committed in that capacity to the Rosewoods or to the Underbranch Co. or anything like that. We've made a lot of good impressions, but we haven't fostered any of those into anything else at this point.
I don't think that we've had the need to.
We also just haven't had the time.
Yeah,
time need. We've been pressed. We've been on the move. I will.
We
say
know where to go if we need something.
If we go to the casino and have a few good rolls, we could own the casino. So that could be a really good one. So
you need the capital for that, though, and I don't think we have it quite yet. Like you need to put something down.
City, like heard it's like a summer home or something. Maybe that would be
There's an airship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Our greatest enemy is definitely whoever the fuck we're dealing with next.
Adrexia.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Well, Underblade and Iron Hand are the immediate enemy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think there's anyone that has like a negative? Anyone that we've interacted with that we have seen as kind of neutral, but anyone that has seen the Twilight Heralds in like a potentially negative light?
The dude that's in prison in Broward.
Okay.
Yes.
And Cyrus.
Yes. Yeah.
Specifically the people that are in jail because of us.
I think passively there might be some people in the Ivory Guard that might be frustrated with us. Because we've been kind of like doing their job for them.
Well, if they did their job, we wouldn't have to do it for them.
I know. I'm just saying, like, I could see that resentment building just in it as a whole. Like, if people start losing faith in the guard because we're doing it for them, then, like, that kind of a thing. That's the only thing I could really imagine in terms of just people we aren't.
Have some reservations against us.
That too, because we weren't, like, super, like, we got into that drawer without any effort whatsoever. And they'd been working on it all day. And we were like, no, this is mine. And don't tell anyone I have this because this is mine. And I will have privacy on this.
We also kind of just like shit on their investigation, interrogation
thing. Yeah. So like...
We wouldn't have had the interrogation at all without us.
Exactly. That's the thing though.
Very
it's
fair.
Like... Yeah. That's the only negative connotation I could imagine. And it's not because we're bad people. It's just because... we're not giving them time to shine in a time like that. We're doing it for them.
There were also points, and specifically with like when Faye was dead, when they came into the room, we were very, I'll say, passively aggressive to a number of those guys.
Maybe
that-
even
and that-
actively aggressive.
I fucking
that-
shit on them immediately.
That
Yeah.
extended
So
into
mad.
the next day also when we were
Yeah.
going and investigating. Like
Yeah.
we talked shit to the Ivory Guard
Yeah.
a number of times.
What about what do you think Dahlia Jeshi's impression of us was?
Oh,
I
wasn't there.
think
Professor.
I wasn't there for that, so I don't know.
I think she
Matthew?
was very concerned about her student.
We never
Like-
talked to her.
We
After?
didn't talk to her after
Yeah.
the fact.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, we didn't kill him, so you think she'd be grateful.
But we didn't get back to her as that
Did we
could
promise to?
I don't think we promised to. I think
Is it our
Brightwing fulfilled the
responsibility?
promise. Well, Brightwing made the promise that she would make sure that he was
No
Not
harm
hurt.
came to him.
not hurt.
Mhm.
It was not
Which-
physically hurt.
I mean, within
I-
reason.
I think that
We put him back to a normal.
I would
Yeah,
He has
assume,
permanent trauma.
and I might be misremembering this, but Leah may have had a sending go out to Dahlia because she did specifically bring up Dahlia at the end of it. I can't remember fully, but that would be something that I would see Brightwing doing.
Mm-hmm.
That is
think
something
she-
I was
Remember.
probably doing. I don't remember it or not. We can
Yeah, I
check
don't
it.
She
remember.
said the name to him.
To Cyrus, yeah.
I think after she let him know that she let her know that he was okay, and like that was the extent of it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't think it went any further than that.
Mm.
Anyways,
I cannot remember. I know that she said to the professor that she will like make sure that he's okay.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
think
it.
she
And
gave her an update.
I
think so.
what she did was she told Cyrus that
yeah,
his professor cared much a lot for him,
Yeah.
and then
Mhm.
she might be
said
very
nothing but
disappointed.
good
But
words.
Mhm.
Yeah,
yeah,
little
oh well,
final
we'll see.
nail in the psychological coffin. On
But
that one.
the
Mm.
secretary at the academy,
Oh my gosh.
He thought we were delightful.
he loved us.
Yeah,
I love this.
He's the one
Bro.
true ally we have in this world.
Secretly a
It's
level
fact.
20
I-
wizard.
I want to see in episode 82 where we have some sort of incursion where we have to get back into the academy, and he's the guy that comes and opens the secret door.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah,
because of that
yeah.
interaction. Like,
Using a 9th level wish,
yeah.
he
yeah.
opens the door because that's the only way to open it.
Yeah.
And we just all look at him like,
hmm
Okay, next question, you guys. For all of you. There have been some brief moments of passing riz in this campaign. What is your character's type romantically? And if it's too broad, what are some defining characteristics they are attracted to? One at a time, you guys.
I mean,
I'm gonna eat my pizza.
obviously hashtag Fayeadwin, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the easy one. But also, like, I don't know if that's a thing anymore. You know? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know what'll happen once Aedwin reunites with the group. He's the moment that he found out that the fear worked on Cyrus, something happened. And neither he nor I have an explanation as to what that was.
Is that when you rolled something?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I
Uh,
fucking knew it.
That was a roll to determine whether or not Aedwin was gonna act up and be foolish.
Mm.
And so it's weird now though.
I think you mentioned like the power move with the loot too.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, the loot power move was pretty wild.
Yasm's was better.
Damn.
No, oh, I thought we were talking about Yasteps.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about how the earring went back.
Mm.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, like I don't know. Adwin's never really had a love life. So like
Yeah.
he's been all badness.
Bimsness.
Oh, so you
So-
said Hannah Montana.
Only Bimsness.
Oh, there is no Hannah Montana. He's not living two separate lives. He's living one life, and that life is get shit done. That's kind of it. So I don't know. I think he's fallen back into that now for sure. We'll just have to wait and see what happens.
I want to know Remy's.
Yeah.
Because Eclipse.
But also, Faye was gonna answer. Like,
No, it's
Faye
good.
was gonna
It's
answer.
good.
But I was
No,
just like,
you go.
Yeah.
You're included in this question, Halia.
yeah.
If you've explored that.
I've not thought about it.
Okay.
But Remy would probably like people who are very smart. Who she can
tracks.
talk to without talking down to.
Mm.
I fucking love her.
Yeah.
So good.
That's the litmus test. It's like she'll say something, and if they're like, "What?" she's like, "Never mind." And
Eh.
she moves on.
I have to go.
Yeah. Oh man, I have to.
Man,
Oh, I
office hours just started. So
I just got
man.
ascending. Oh man.
Oh,
I
my
gotta-
my
God.
cat friend just called me. I have to go
Oh
help
man,
them.
I
with
got.
a thing.
Dude, she would so be the out on all of those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
100% how that would go.
My cat friend.
But it would always be, I feel like, Eclipse trying to set Remy up with somebody just to
No.
see.
She's not that fucking
No? Okay.
intrusive.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's like, oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I think Faye's
That's-
confidence is knocked down because she's had a couple interactions where she's been like, "Oh hey," but she's also from the industry and had been for a long time in this like industry of schmoozing to get what you want instead of just being a genuinely good person. And so I think she's still kind of like finding the balance of that, but has had no luck. And I don't know what I as a player would do if there was ever any reciprocation on that. I think I would panic. So I kind of like the fact that nothing's worked out for her, for me. I don't know. I don't think I don't think Faye has a type as much as like I think she's interested in people that are like more willing to like be witty and banter and things like that, and just like carry on a conversation and have fun and like let her kind of forget the stresses of it. I think she's looking for the disconnect of like the stress and the tension, or if she's not looking for anything, but that's what is interesting. But she also like her parents were trying to marry her off, and that's part of why she left home, was because she's like, "No, that's not for me right now. Like, I refuse to be a pawn in your financial chessboard."
Hell yeah.
Yasnip goes with everything.
Yes.
For him, it's a little different considering the fact that he can look like anyone at any level, and so I think that, I mean, I'll say it outright. He's probably a hoe, but
I fucking love that. Yes, King.
but
Wow.
Completely
the
not.
the level for him, I think that he's looking for at this point is, after being in the state that he has been and being in the places he has been and the diversity that he's been able to potentially interact with, it's not as much a look and it's more a who, and more the person specifically, and he probably doesn't know exactly who that is. So, but it is one of the things that was a hard link, and this is actually something that would be for Matt, because I actually think I left it up for Matt. But was how his parents interacted.
Well, Matt's not here. I don't know what happened.
So
his internet blew up.
Not again.
Because he has Spectrum, so it's likely that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lovely goes, Matt. Jez, do you want to answer or no?
I think it's kind of the same boat with Edwin. It's just like hasn't really thought about it. She also doesn't really know how to navigate that kind of life because it's very like I do my job, I go home.
Yeah.
There's really no in between.
What
I think if she
was there to live,
right. I think if she was looking for anyone, it's more like she makes friend connections, and then if the friend connections kind of go from there, because it's just like you have to have a baseline. It's like if you get along with somebody, fantastic. If you get along with somebody really well, that's great. And if it happens to turn into something, then I guess so. But also, it's like she's never really had that before. The only love she's ever known is her family. And from there, it's like you have Remy, who she's known for a lot of her life, and then you meet someone like Vana that everybody started shipping her with, that it's just like, but Vana and Remy are accidentally very similar. So I think it's more of like, I see my best friend in this person, and I trust this person, and I want to protect them for the same reasons that she wants to protect Remy, because that's how that works. So it's like, and it comes across that way because she can be like wanting to keep that person happy. And I think a lot of that comes off as like flirting when it's completely unintentional. She's just doing what she knows how to do, which is protect and keep happy. Like that's just her life. So it's like
nobody was necessarily saying that Eclipse was doing anything that was particularly flirty.
Vana.
But definitely the other way around. Beyond any reasonable doubt.
I accidentally kept reciprocating stuff as Eclipse, and I was just like, fuck.
Which is exactly what would happen anyways.
That's the thing. That's why it's like I get it, and I'm totally like, you guys can do whatever you want, it's fine. But like on her end, it's just being cordial. It's just being a decent person and being a good friend. Like, we went through shit together. I'm happy that you're alive. I'm super happy that you're here and living your best life, because I thought you were just gonna disappear and we were never gonna see each other again. That's why it was funny when Brian was like, the life that happened when like seeing Vana again. It was like, because I didn't think that was gonna happen, and we'd been through so much shit up to that point. Like, it was nice to just have a moment to just be. But yeah, I think it would be people with a backbone and people that are authentic. Is just it has to be a friend, someone you can genuinely trust. So,
do y'all want to hear Brightwing's answer?
Yeah.
Oh God,
please.
Oh boy.
I do.
Okay, Matt. I know you're the one that asked this question. How do the Riz go? One, Brightwing doesn't have any. No matter how everyone says she's charming in her personality and her outlook on life. She does not have any Riz and has never tried to Riz anybody. Let's get that out there. With a certain someone that has popped into the campaign, that was literally me being like, I think this would be interesting, and I DM'd Matt, and I was like, is he cute? And he's like, he's cute. And I was like, all right, we're gonna make a fun, clumsy moment that we'll see if it goes anywhere. And it went somewhere. In terms of what actually Brightwing likes and is romanticized by, I think she probably is straight. And I think she is very, likes, I think a gentleman, I think. Back at her home, it's, muscles and more muscles. And so to see someone that's not like that and to be very sweet to her, I think she was very encapsulated by. So we will see if that would go anywhere. I don't know. That was just a fun throwaway thing that I did with Matt. And then everyone really liked it. So we haven't been back to Elmara to see him. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. Who knows?
There was
Come
never
on, Leah.
any, there was never any question that Brightwing had 0 game. Like
Yeah,
we
like,
all,
that
we
was-
all we all knew that already. That wasn't
Yeah.
within question.
Oh my god, Matt.
What?
True.
Hey.
Damn!
Matt
put
said
it at
Leah
that.
describing the man she's meeting at the wedding,
Oh!
Damn!
and she's not here to say otherwise. So we just get to
Damn.
win. Let's go.
Let's go. Oh my
I think
god.
to add on that, like, I think the opposite for Faye, like, I think she wants someone who, like, statistically, she has high charisma. And I
Mhm.
think people are naturally inclined to, because of that and because of her family connections, she's been schmoozed a lot. And I think
Mm.
she wants, like, I think she would be into somebody who is unimpressed.
So somebody that would put her in her place.
I don't
Just
like that
on like
phrase.
well, not like that, but
Yeah.
like
Someone who's
Doesn't
not
put her on
taken
a
in by the fluff.
exactly. We'll
Yeah.
be realistic.
Doesn't put her on a pedestal.
Yeah.
I think Faye being with somebody that's just real
It's an equal.
would make a lot of sense. Somebody that's not having
Very
an
much
ulterior
equal.
motive, not like in it for the money, not
Mhm.
in it for the
Because
name.
everyone that's like schmoozed her in any way has wanted something from her.
Yeah.
And all of her relationships have been very superficial, regardless of like to what extent they were, or just like all of her flirtations have been superficial or to get something, be it her from someone or them from her through her
Yeah.
connections. And I think what would captivate her would be someone who is just so uninterested in all of the fluff that comes along with her.
And it's just her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I could see.
Mhm.
I don't even know that she knows that she wants that.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think
Maybe.
I could imagine any advance is always that's the point. Is the everything else with it. It's not her, it's the whole package.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see it being like,
Well, and
because
that's
people
part
will
of
say
why.
what you want to hear.
Well, and that's part of why it was such a huge thing for her to give her whole name, is because she didn't want you guys to want
Oh,
her
yeah.
for that reason.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't want to be Felicity Rosewood. She wanted to just be Faye. She
Yeah.
wanted to be a traveling bard who just happened to like have some, like to know a lot of things, and it's fine because that's what people do. But the whole just Faye. And I think that's all she really wants to be right now. She's done the fluff for a while.
I think,
Nice.
like I said before, I think that's the thing we do really beautifully as a party, is that we're all just like, we people. We people doing the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to add
Matt.
something, Matt?
You've returned to us.
I'm back. Wait,
I missed all of the answers.
can you hear me?
Your
Yes.
own
Yeah,
question.
we can hear you.
I
Matt,
got
who is
some
your
of it.
ideal partner?
Oh, shit.
Wait, that's not how this works.
Florence Pugh.
Huh? What'd you say, Cammy?
Florence Pugh.
Oh, yes, Florence Pugh. No, actually,
Come on.
let's be clear. Florence Pugh is my celebrity crush, but if I had to pick an actual partner, it would be Jennifer Lawrence by a mile.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice.
I want to be her friend.
But
like,
we're not here to talk about me
She's
and my
great.
preferences.
Jennifer Lawrence is wonderful.
Mhm.
Facts.
Delightful.
Okay. Keep going, guys. We don't have long now. Which is sad because I love talking to you. This question disclaimer. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. What do you think has been the most crucial character development point for your character so far?
Leaving the campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Those two are obvious. Death.
Death.
It's the trump card.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Like, I don't want to say it's the voluntary telling of it being a changeling. Honestly, no, actually, you know what? I think it is, and I think it happened in the most recent one, was being caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that even beyond telling somebody, being caught, because, and it hasn't really played out very much, but, and Annika can't know this, even though she might watch it anyway. When the question was raised of how long that she had been following them, that was one of those prodding questions that Yasnip does a number of times to try to figure out if he can tell what people know before they know that he knows. And when she said a couple of hours, that's where he, instead of hiding the fact that he's a changeling or trying to dissuade, it was, okay, I'm going to actively be a changeling. And that was the decision in that moment was, okay, now we're not hiding it in front of this person because that's going to look really fucking weird. So I'd say between those two for him right now.
Jez, would you like to answer, or do you want to keep it to yourself?
I mean, it's a few things. I think it's kind of varied between like Seraph dying and being a part of that, and then kind of trying to see if it's really worth when paired with magical people. I think the entire journey as a whole has just been kind of putting into perspective if it's actually a valuable trait or not.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things she can't do. But I think in the last couple of sessions, it's been very eye-opening of what she can do to help everybody in what they can't do. So it's...
That line.
I don't think she
yours was
feels
my favorite.
as... Huh?
The line of yours from the interrogation was my favorite, where it's like, they helped me, but I kept you there myself. And I was just like, I got chill.
Yeah.
Like, I kept you there without it. I think is what you said. Like with the magic.
Yeah. So I think it's been a very gradual process of realizing that it is okay to be who she is, on top of the embracing her primal instincts. Now she's whole. She's not holding back. She's not, well, to an extent. She knows what she has to not be completely feral. But she's allowed to be her whole self again because the circumstances have allowed it. So.
Would you say that there's actually I'm sorry, but just because it's kind of in the same line, there is a different type of established trust? Because Hugo very much gives the vibe of having a different perspective on magic, use of magic, responsibilities of magic. I'm curious for Eclipse, the fact that we found that orb in Hugo's desk, and we are now, to the best of our knowledge, relying on that to keep certain information away from people. Does she feel like magic is becoming too much of a part of her everyday life?
I think it always has been. She's grown up in it. She's learned around it, but she's never actually learned it herself. She just, I think, at a certain point, I don't know how it works with kids in this world where you find out you just don't have it. You know? Like, you reach a certain age and it's just like, that's not it. I'm not gonna get to do that. And I don't know if her and Luna would have really tapped into something like that. Like, they probably would have, like, played Wizards or something. Like, you know, like the imaginary, and just, like, dreamed of it. And then I think at the moment you shift out of that, you're just kind of like, alright, cool, I'm gonna go do the other thing. And it's like, I've got a whole other life that I can live, and it's fine, and it's just part of society. And then meeting Remy, it's like, cool, so I can support this person who really enjoys this thing that I don't understand. But she also, in some ways, can't understand the things that Eclipse enjoys. So it's just this mutual respect, but also the fact that it is now a tool. Because people more powerful than her are going to use this against her. So she's just evening the odds. So.
Good answer. Great answer. I don't know. Listen, I don't know how to respond to those things. And it was a great answer. So great answer. My God. Okay. What is your confidence level as a party from 1 to 10 in taking on the assassins if you catch up to them soon?
2.
Nope.
No.
Nice.
Nope. Not
Probably a
ready
3
for
or
that.
a 4 if we can get the jump on them, but I'm not excited about that fight.
If they're
Not
any level of
engaged.
prepared.
Yeah, I'm not excited about that fight at all. I'm so fucking scared, man.
The other night we were talking with Leah, and she said, "This is a question for Megan and Jess. How mad would you be if Eclipse and Faye didn't get the killing blow on the assassins?"
Listen.
Oh, here we go.
I think what would probably happen, and I don't know if anyone's actually gonna let this happen, but I don't know if anybody would let us have it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if this was such a pinnacle, crucial, like, if this was at the end of Yasnip's, like, whole arc, if we get to do it later, right? And it was some, like, absolute dumpster fire bitch person, I would hold their ass and let him do it. Like, there's no way I'm doing that. Like, but we're all in it. It's not, I'm not gonna snap because, like, Brightwing gets a fucking guiding bolt, like, killing blow on one of them. You know, I'm still gonna rip their spine out. Like, that's not gonna change. I'll do it after the fact. Yeah. I will do the aftermath.
Find out.
I will
Fatality.
freaking go.
But,
yeah.
Hey. Faye's not a damage main. Like, that's never the goal. Like, she can, but that's not her thing. So I don't think there would ever be an expectation. I think it's that we are going to get them, and I think that says more for, like, how her mindset has shifted. Of, instead of, you know, she came out and started following the heralds as they were because they were a story and because they were interesting and because she wanted to be where the things were happening. And now she wants to be part of, not the only thing, but part of the person doing the things that are happening. And is slowly realizing, like, what the change is in herself, in, like, having a sudden sense of morality and things like that, which is very disconcerting. So I don't think she would feel gypped. I would think that whoever it was, it would equally validating, because these are my people, and I think it would almost be like an honor if someone else, like, it's an honor regardless to fight alongside people that she can call a friend. And if it means that they're all doing it to help avenge her and Eclipse's situation, then that's enough.
Also, it would mean that we killed them. Get absolutely shit on. Like, that would probably be the biggest joy at the end of it. It's just goodbye.
Well, and it's like that moment where, like, there's a little kid in front of a bully, and then his big brother shows up, and it's like, my brother wasn't here before. Say hi. You know, and it's but that's not a cop out. That's you have not seen the extent of my resources.
Yeah. You caught me at a low.
Let me acquaint you.
Have me at a high.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's solid.
Excellent. Well, with one of the members of the party leaving, we had another one joining, and we met the wonderful Sam. Yes, bye Edwin. See ya. We met the wonderful Sam, played by the always great Annika, the DM of BB&B.
By Beth and Beyond.
Yep,
Hashtag BB&B.
definitely by Beth and Beyond.
Beth and Beyond.
Beth and Beyond. What were your first impressions of Sam?
Sus.
Why? Like, what? But
What?
why?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think the attachment that Yasnip has with her story. She has been in Olea for years. These guys suddenly show up and leave. Now she's leaving. Something happened. I don't know what. I don't know if it's an item. I don't know if she came to Olea years ago to acquire whatever it is that they have that she wants and basically ruined her plans. I have no idea. But she did share enough that they have something that she wants. She didn't share what it is. I'm wondering what somebody that has basically set their life in a city wants with somebody that wasn't in that city originally. They came in a few days and then left, and now she's following them. What did they take?
They took Hugo.
Does she want Hugo? And if so, why?
So many questions.
Are they the ones that took him and she was supposed to kill him?
Yeah. So.
Brand, how does it feel to no longer be the most sus one in the group?
Fucking lovely.
God, what a mood. I think I made my opinions quite clear in the moment of actually meeting Sam. I think I definitely solidified, like, hi, I really appreciate that you have things and that you're mysterious. I'm dealing with a lot right now. I need you to fucking say something. Like, no. And I hate doing that to people, but like, she is not in a fuck around and find out kind of mood right now.
Huh? Do we have Leah's response?
Oh.
Leah.
I don't trust you. I'm talking about Annika. I don't trust you. You're a thief. Thieves lie.
Yeah?
So what is Sam lying and hiding? You know, why are they really here? I don't know. Why is their hair green? It looks great, but why?
Facts.
You know, I don't know. We'll find out. But does Brightwing like you? Yeah. Not Brightwing likes most people, so, you know, take that with a grain of salt. But does Leah like you? Badass, by the way.
No.
I don't trust you. Keeping my eye on you.
Leah's been hurt by too many random secrets.
Yes.
He's been
in
hurt
the
by
last couple
Annika.
months in the game.
Yeah, she's kind of been put through the ringer, hasn't she?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Oops. My bad, gang.
That's horrible. Who would do that?
Oh, man.
I had a few questions for Annika. I'm so glad she's not here. But
We can
anyway.
DM them to her and get her answers.
She's a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
busy at the moment.
No, not live. I just mean for
No.
ourselves.
Do it live.
I think I have a question for Halia, but it's mostly, was it easier playing Remy after we'd already played the Avatar game? Or would it have been, like, about the same regardless? Because we never really hung out before then.
Yeah, I mean, Avatar probably helped.
Yeah.
Like, meeting in person helped, probably.
Yeah.
Well, like, yeah, because I didn't know when this was going to happen. So it was just kind of like, yeah.
Well, actually, Matt DM'd me right after that week. He was like, hey, want to be Want to
Okay.
play for a
Yeah.
couple sessions?
That makes
Yeah.
more sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Gotcha.
So lovely.
That might be one of my proudest moments of this entire campaign, because if I had played Remy, it would have been so much less perfect.
Yeah.
And the gap from having Halia play Remy is pretty wild.
I didn't realize that you guys haven't been friends for a long time.
Yeah,
Like-
it's
Like
Yeah.
real,
Yeah.
like real person friends.
yeah. We had, like I said, we played a little like Avatar mini campaign before, and she wanted to play my characters basically like chaperone, but I made the most rowdy bitch, and I
It
never
was
play those.
So good. It
What are we
was-
gonna do?
Oh god.
I didn't
It
want to
made
be
me so
super
happy.
obnoxious, so I was really scared. And she's done it well, so I'm like,
Cause like at that point in time, it had been just playing these really conservative, like not super out there characters that are like mostly to themselves. And Holly was playing the people that jumped into boiling lakes. And then watching the roles reverse was just it was exceptional.
Did
It's
she
my
also do
favorite
that
thing.
in Minecraft?
Yes.
I think that is the case.
Okay.
Yes. That didn't.
That wasn't on purpose.
I was there. I recall.
That wasn't on purpose. But you were still searching for something very valuable, were you not? So, I mean, how far off could it really have been?
But yeah, I guess that's just a testament. Because yeah, when we hung out in person, it was just. I think it was chill. It seemed fine. Yeah, that's funny. But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that was just a passive question I had.
And you guys didn't really talk to each other in an Eclipse and Remy context at all before
Yeah.
just dropping into that. And it was great. So
Childhood best friends. Like,
yeah.
yeah, very well done.
Like Eclipse knew the whole, or Jess and Eclipse knew the whole Remy story and background. So she had that to work with, but that was pretty much it.
Well, there's already the level of acceptance. Like Eclipse is like, yes, this is my friend. This is who she is. I am not surprised by her.
No.
And everybody else is just
And
like,
everyone else was
oh
Yeah.
my
My God,
God.
And she's like, "Isn't she great?"
look at my friend. Look at her go.
Just like
Oh yeah,
Will
she
I will
does
die
that
for her.
page in the comic
That's
book.
queen. Yeah. I think we've had
Incredible.
Brian and I have had the opposite problem.
You've had to
Yes.
pretend that you're not absolute
Yeah.
best friend.
Yeah, we're but like not IRL best friends. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's like I was surprised. I was convinced that you were just never gonna tell Faye because, like,
Constantly keeping at arm's
Oh,
the whole
length.
part of it-
gap.
okay.
yeah, just
Part of it is
because
that.
I feel like
Part of
I
it
feel
is
like
that.
I was worried that once Faye and Yasnip started to warm up to each other, that you and I would jump too easily into Megan and Brian. And so I think I was concerned for that.
I think the reason why, and this is part of it too, but I think that the one thing, Remy and Eclipse have a written history. Faye and Yasnip don't.
Yeah.
So finding something that is Faye and Yasnip versus Remy and Eclipse is hard in that capacity, especially considering how well the two of us know each other. So like now we have the banter scene where we were being aunt and uncle to Brightwing, talking like that's the vibe, but is also like the inside jokes of like, you fucking dropped me. Like that stuff just rolls now because now there's some substance to it that can be explored.
Like 2 to 2. Like
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So now we have something to go off of.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, guys, I have my last question. Do any of you have questions for each other
Before we get to the last question.
before we get the last question?
I got none.
No.
I have
Brian's
one.
thinking.
I have
Okay.
one for Eowyn.
Okay.
Oh.
Ooh.
Ooh.
What the fuck?
Okay, this is ahead of time. Okay. I'm going to throw in that in this time away, let's say that Eowyn does find some sort of a romantic interest.
Oh shit.
If they drop the term big boy, How
Oh.
out are you
Oh my
in that
gosh.
moment?
Oh God. that is like
That's all it says.
that is so
That's it.
I can't begin to explain how friendship ending that is. He is done. Like the moment that drops, he's like, all right, I'm
Like
gonna
somebody
go
he
jump
meets
off the cliff
the
or
love of
something.
his life, gets married, they get back, and she goes, "Come here, big boy." He's like, "All right, out."
No.
annulment,
And divorce.
done.
Immediately annulled.
He
Fucking
Anymore
tosses,
divorce
Apple.
court.
he tosses the fucking ring into Mount Doom, and that's
Yeah.
it. We're done.
Oh my
It's over.
God.
Yeah, no shot.
I have more. It's just another like player to character question. How much of your character is you, and how much of your character is who you wish you could be?
That's a great question.
I mean,
Wow.
I wish I could be as confident as Edwin is on a pretty consistent basis. Yeah.
Because like I can see bits of everybody in their character, but I don't know how much of it is like you. You know what I mean? Like I can see it.
Is Edwin less of a brainiac and more of a meathead than Sean is?
Oh God, yeah. Listen, if I were playing literally any other type of character, I'm min-maxing the fuck out of this. But like, Edwin, he still has that slightly analytical side to him. Because that's what he was trained for, right? Whenever he goes on a
In
hunt,
a battle perspective, yeah.
in a
But it's
from a combat
training.
perspective, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Like outside of that, he's like, what the fuck is magic, right? Like he doesn't know what's going on in the world in terms of like what kind of magical nonsense is just floating around. He wants to learn, but he likely will never understand it no matter how hard he tries. But that I want to know, like, if I'm reading a book and I get to like the explanation of how certain things work, like if a book explains how magic works in their world, I'm so in. Like you have like my hook, the hooks are in. Like I'm reading that book forever. Like I crave that. So yeah, we're very much opposite in that respect.
I would say that I don't crave any kind of like spotlight or limelight in the way that Faye does. I think it's kind of like she was a challenge to me to get outside of my comfort zone a little bit. And like I struggle too because I internalize a lot and she's a little more impulsive than I am, so perhaps that's something that like I wish that like those aspects, like the confidence and the impulsiveness, are things that I wish that I could have for myself more. But the face aspect is something that I don't necessarily want for myself. I think that's more of a tool.
The practical jokes, that is me. Like I would do the apple thing. I would send apples to your doorsteps with cash in it. I would do that. But I think for Yasnip, okay, this is actually
Yours is a psychological dive.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't mean to be so attacking. I just thought it'd be curious.
I've had these conversations with my family. I don't have the strongest connection with my family. I come from I have 15 cousins. I don't talk to any of them. I have 4 or 5 aunts and uncles. I don't talk to any of them. I live in the same town as my dad, and I haven't seen him for a year. Yasnip has a very, very solid attachment to his family. And that is one of the ones that's hard for me, is having that connection of having all these drives. My brother, I love my brother. I still only talk to him when he's drunk. But more like, is it Dane? I think is that one. Or No, it's the other one.
Rafe.
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 That's my brother. Like, I hear my brother when that happens. So that's one of the different aspects for him, is having that very strong family attachment, two parents having that great kindness. And I do anything for my family, but I don't talk to them. I just, it's not who I am. I lose in touch in that. But beyond that, it is the plotting, the planning, the long, drawn out scenarios. That's me. But the motivation, that's all Yasna.
What about Remy? I mean, obviously we made the character for you, but
Yeah, I mean, definitely I put myself in my characters, but for Remy, I guess, like, I personally thrive in academic settings. Like, so I would like to be in the position Remy's in. But yeah. I don't know.
You have to answer your own question, Jess.
do I?
Yes.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
That's
You don't.
too
you have
good of a question to not answer.
Yeah.
It's funny, I didn't really anticipate that Eclipse was gonna be such a fucking psychological attack that she ended up becoming. Cause same way with Brian. I come from a very broken family. I'm not used to having a mom and a dad that actually give a shit about each other. But I do have a sibling who is my best friend, who I will die for that man. So when Luna and Eclipse got to meet again and pop off, I was very happy that the chemistry was solid. It was simple. It was exactly what I had wanted out of the siblings, because they were rivals. They're not enemies. They're just, they know each other's strong suits and they poke fun at each other. And for anyone that has known me long enough, or has known me for any small stretch of time, my temper does get out of control. And that was the funny part with Barbarian. I didn't want to do it, but it made sense. And it's also a weird thing that, like, it's a human thing. It happens sometimes. And so it's like, it's not, doesn't have to be feral. You just gotta own it. So that's kind of it. That's why it was weird.
I will find a way to turn this on Matt.
Yeah.
I was going to.
Which
Which
NPC do
Is the
you
most
connect
weird.
with the most? Which NPC do you think embodies you the most?
Yeah.
Embodies me the most?
Well, or is most
Antonio.
similar to you?
Reed Tumble Thicket isn't in this game, so
No,
Can't
Reed
be.
Tumble Thicket
I
is
would
not
be.
in this.
I'd be willing to bet it's Matthias from Soft.
He is my Baldur's Gate character, though.
oh god. I missed him.
One of them.
Okay, so off the very top of my head, I don't know if I can give a single answer, because I would say that one of the main ways that I create NPCs is taking a bit of me, throwing it into something, and then masking the rest of it with not me. So, like, I very much am a want to be a father someday kind of guy. And I think that there's been feedback that, like, I play... it's mostly been mothers for some reason.
You're very matronly, Matt.
Yeah, I don't know why it's mostly been mothers. Why has it mostly been mothers?
We haven't really had a lot of, like,
Mother
Incredible.
Mia, Jan.
Yeah,
Celeste.
Celeste.
yeah,
A lot
yeah.
of
And Hugo was reserved, so we
Bri-
got
and
less of him
Brightwing's
than we got
mother
of...
also.
Right-Wing's mom,
Yeah.
Faye's mom,
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
and
I think we
Snippet.
just haven't had a lot
Um,
of chance to hang out with, like, dads.
I mean, Clerk could be a mom. We don't know. We didn't ask.
We don't know.
Facts.
We didn't check.
So like, yeah, so like I will put some of that, like how I would want to be a parent, into some of the parents when I want them to be good parents. And then, like, there's bits of Rylus that are me because I like to be very analytical. There's bits of the goofy shopkeepers like Matthias that are me. We haven't really met a very read like Bardish NPC yet, I don't think.
No,
Have we?
haven't. No.
So that
would've
I'm
never
sure
known
that
that.
will happen at some
Also,
point.
someone
And
arrived just in time to answer the question herself.
oh,
Mm.
La,
Hello.
la, Leah.
oh,
It's the
But
actual
really,
voice of Leah.
It's the actual disembodied voice.
Mm.
So, Leah, since you're here, I have a question for you.
yeah.
Oh, please.
What part of your character is you, and how much of it is who you want to be?
We're getting real deep. Oh gosh.
Yes. We're at the end of it. Sorry.
Brightwing, I would say, is my therapy side. The side I'm going into healthcare wise as a career. Insecurity side as well.
Mm.
I would want Brightwing's patience. Because I don't have patience. I do have patience, but sometimes like the constant like world looking at you and you have to just accept what they see, patience I don't have. And that's not necessarily like the best answer for it, but Brightwing has a patience that I don't have. It's a different type of patience that I have. I have patience for kids and for other things in life, but Brightwing has patience in something that I would want more of.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
I did think of one, but you haven't met him in game.
Oh, the NPC.
Yeah.
would
Well,
you
most
even
of you
say
haven't. Most of you haven't. One of you has.
Wait, is it Arthur?
Yes.
Hey!
Yeah.
Mm.
Listen, actually,
that guy eventually.
100%. Arthur is just Matt. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
outright.
so
That
fucking
is-
hyped,
That
dude.
is, yeah, that's one of the
Okay.
most Matt characters I've ever seen. So yeah, you guys will get to meet Arthur.
Is
He's a
Cammy
hoot.
still here? Cammy,
She is.
camera
It's just her camera.
Cammy is here, but yeah, her video blew up.
Yo.
We've
Yeah.
all
Okay.
been staring
I
at the
don't know
same
why.
face of
Yeah.
Cammy.
You had a last question?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And you kind of touched on it a bit, but, well, what is a mystery or unexplored thread that you are most interested in uncovering or learning the answers to?
Dragon Door.
That dragon door is gonna be a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Dragons in general, actually.
Yeah. That's
And that
Because
fucking
I-
dragon key.
Considering the game is called Dungeons and Dragons and there are none is
so
sus.
key.
There's a
Yeah.
dragon
Where the
door,
hell are
a
they?
lack of dragons, a book of dragons, a dragon key, and
Blood.
we have nothing on any of them.
Yeah, it's
Secrets.
Dragons.
Unless dragons are
Twins.
Matt's version of a warlock and not
Twins.
taking Eldritch Blast.
yeah.
And he's going to have Dungeons and Dragons sans
Oh
dragons.
my god.
Oh, wow.
Dungeons and Dungeons and
Dungeons
You
and
didn't-
Sadness.
Dungeons
Well, and there aren't that many
Depression.
dungeons either.
Yes.
True. Oh, that should have been the name of that episode.
That,
Yeah,
yeah,
what the
you could
heck,
go back
man?
and change it.
That's
could.
true, I
Dungeons and
could.
Depression.
I think you should.
Dungeons
Yeah,
and
I think you should.
Which one?
The most recent one. but
The
yeah.
most
Oh, the
recent
one that
one
was
for
my
sure.
depression.
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh.
I'll save that for one that's the party's
Yeah.
depression.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Next time we dungeon crawl and it just ends in sadness. That's what it's gonna
Yeah.
be.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how you know.
I have a good answer to this question,
Oh.
and that is the owner of the pocket knife.
Yeah,
I wanna know who that was.
that would be cool.
Interesting.
I want to see if Faye's biological parents are still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, really want to go to the casino.
The casino!
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
Same.
I want to go to the casino because I know something about it that I totally guessed on. That Matt was like, DM'd me. He's like, bro, you got it in one, and I was like, Let's go.
Oh god. It's Team Rocket, guys. We all knew that was
I have a
happening.
question for Leah.
Wait. Jess
What
has to
was
answer
the-
this
you were
question
just
first.
talking about?
Oh.
Oh.
What was I just talking about?
Yeah.
We'll find out. We
No,
gotta
we're
go to
good,
the
we're
casino first.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to know why. Like, the immediate thing. I want to know why they took him instead of killing him.
Mhm.
Like, it's not like I wanted him to die or anything. It'd have been way fucking worse if that happened. But, like, I want to know the motive to just take him instead.
I want to be where the people are.
But,
True.
yeah. I
Did
don't
you
know.
guys? I think there was a question about your dad, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. We
Yeah,
already
Well, there was a
answered
question
that.
that you answered with saying her dad was
Yeah.
sus or something.
It's a little
Yeah.
sus. I'm not gonna lie, Jess. Sorry.
I mean, I don't fucking know. Like,
Remy, do you have a
do you have
answer
a
to
secret
this last question?
of the game that you want to
Um,
confirm?
Thing that Remy wants to know?
Yeah, I mean, my and Remy's questions are the same. Like, where does her magic come from? Where does magic come from in general?
Yeah. That would be really damn cool to find out.
From in your heart.
But there's lines. It's science.
It's science.
Well-
Cammy, are you still there?
I am.
Okay, so you can wrap us up.
I'm ethereal, but
Yes.
I am here.
Brian, didn't you want to ask?
You are in dark.
It was just trying to get whatever Leah got.
Oh,
about the
got
casino.
it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no. It's not allowed to be shared.
Nope. Well, thank you everyone for answering those questions. For me, your lovely Lord Keeper. I learned a lot about these Talking Aantharas. And I love talking about D&D in general. So it's a win-win. I don't know when the fuck we're going to do another one. So
In 20 more
Lord
sessions?
Keeper,
Probably, yeah.
Actually, this was only 14 sessions, so probably less than 20, but we'll see.
Could do that
This
cheesy, like, if your
Keeper-
questions didn't get answered, comment below.
When we've found out
Mm.
something about Sam and Annika can be there to ask or answer questions,
Yes!
that's when.
True.
I
Yeah.
do have questions for her. So hell yeah. This Lord Keeper wishes you good travels and good luck on whatever you're doing. I hope you enjoyed my questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was good.
Excellent questions by all.
And I don't know how should I wrap this up?
Good answer.
Good answer!
Good answer!
Good answer!
Good answer.